Hey, okay, we are live officially. The host with the most, RG the artist. Yes, that would be me. So today, man, it's going to be a little different. I am going to present some ideas that may or may not be all that relevant, right? As far as um, you know, the most prevalent theories or the most prevalent popular, so to say, um, theories about, you know, where we live, what we see when we look in the sky, what's creating all of this, you know, omnipresent kind of uh, um, atmosphere, so to say. And, but my mind wanders a lot, and I think a lot. I have way too much time. I always say that, but the thing about me is my specialty, I guess you would say, is taking all the current ideas or ideas that were written in the past, about what, astrology, astronomy, geology, geometry, so on and so forth, right? And how they are merged together and create a cohesive idea or framework that seems to be valid. Here's my thing. Here's where my quarrel is with quote unquote science, right? Science wants to give us a reason and an explanation of what we see and how to describe it the best with, you know, um, tools, right, technologies at our disposal. Here's my quarrel: is that science only seems to want to account for and describe physical things, right? Physical phenomena, if you could say that, if that's not an oxymoron, maybe. Um, so, um, so my thoughts are, excuse me one second. Wipe off the face. I'm a little sweaty. But my thing is, science doesn't want to account for metaphysical phenomena, right? The the intangible versus the tangible, and where's the middle ground? Where does all this meet and give us what our senses pick up, right? Um, and I really would like to think that if there is ways of explaining how things appear, right, versus what they are tangibly, right? If there's a way to expand our thought process of what is creating what we see, especially in the sky, right? Because there's such a big thing nowadays where people are catching on this saying that if it's up there in the sky, then we have no way of explaining it. That point blank, don't worry about it. If you can't touch it, you can't explain it, or you can't, and we're getting away from the fact that, we come from the intangible. There's something called a zinc spark or zinc flash, right? As the egg and the sperm meet, there's this flash, and all of a sudden, you know, the process begins. The plasma, the toroidal plasma process that brings together items that creates, things that we can touch, things that we can smell and taste, and um, but most of our senses have a metaphysical beginning, right? Um, and then I don't know where you're left about, little one. Look, y'all want to say hello to my nephew? You want to say hey? Tell him your name. Say what's up. What's your name? And you are how old? And you do what? Complain all day? I'm joking. So yeah, you go to school, and what's your favorite subject? Writing, because why? You're creative. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, he's my helper tonight. This is my official first live podcast in the new studio, man, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm gonna bring forth some ideas tonight that just might push your buttons a little bit because you're going to think, oh, this is all just speculation. And guess what? It is. But guess what? To me, it makes sense up here. I spend a lot of time on this kind of thing. So anyway, I don't want to keep rambling on. Thank you everyone for being here. Let me go over here and say what's up before we jump into what you guys are going to know and come to term in the future, the most impactful moment of your life. For one, it involves creationism. For two, it involves it involves plasma, which is one of my favorite things. It involves if this is some type of simulated environment, it first has to start with a base reality, right? So this base reality that we are within, I believe that we're looking up into a different type of dimension, if you will, to where the lights in the sky and all of the how would you say all of the other smaller lights, I think, come from the bigger lights, being IGIE the moon. So I think the moon. This is just me. This is something new that I'm totally spitballing here, and I need y'all's feedback during this live. But I think the moon itself is projecting the stars almost as if you could think of it like a disco ball. And on each end of the moon, at wherever you're at uh, in the realm, depends on what angle you're seeing it at, right? So the north could be here and the south could be here, like poles. Say my head is the moon, right? Let's do that. So if I'm at the equator, the moon is going to look sideways, right? Where the two poles would be here and here. But if you think about it that way, if I'm in the north, right, then you would say the poles are here and here. But I guess we could then say that depending on where you are, your position on the realm, there really is no set places for the poles position on a moon, right? So my thing is, um, yep. All right, we got a guest. Let me pull you up here, sir. All right, not you, Zayden. Hey, what's going on, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, what's happening, family? I know you. I sound mad
Hey,
echoey. Yeah, what's going
oh,
on,
you're
man?
okay.
Sorry I'm
You're okay.
late.
No
Yo,
problem, brother. No, wait.
could you
Mhm.
could you do me a favor? Drop a link for the show tonight. There are a couple of people that haven't gotten it.
Okay. Yeah, let me drop that one more time here.
Please,
Okay. Yes, sir, man. How's your day been? Been all right?
man. Man, I've been working my ass off, man. I've just been doing a lot of things around the house and stuff. So, yeah,
Okay. Hey,
How about
man.
yours?
Listen, I've been extra lazy, but productive lazy. I've been in bed, so getting all my notes together and all my thoughts um, where I wanted to kind of get the direction of the show going. And
Right.
yeah, man. So let me click this link, send button here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so tonight, bro, we're going to get into some stuff that very original ideas, and well, I could say this. I could say this. I think that some people may have speculated what I'm going to talk about, but may
Right.
not have had the correct way of
Going into
expressing it to people.
right. Right. Probably not going into detail. You think?
Right, right, or not explored it deep enough. Yeah, yeah. Because
Okay.
sometimes
Okay. I'm with
sometimes
it.
people get to where they're like, they speculate, and then they had that fear come up, like, well, if I start telling people what I'm thinking, then I'm going to get dogged out, and they're just going to say it's all speculation, and there's no need in letting your imagination
Right.
run wild. But I say we would never figure anything out without imagination. You know?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
man, and I feel you, man. Look, that's how I am, because I'm like, let me shut my ass up, because I don't want to steer people in the wrong direction. So it's like this is my, and like I stress when I say things, and sorry for the echo. I'm like, this is
no, you're
Vlad's
good.
opinion, my opinions. Like, please don't take these on as gospel, or don't think that I'm, putting a kabah, saying this is it, that's all. No,
Yeah,
just my opinions. You know.
right, right. And I feel
Let
like these
let me
channels
let me
anyway,
shut up. Let me shut up.
our end of,
RG,
go
let me
ahead.
shut up real quick so you could do your thing, because I don't like that echo in the background.
No problem, man. No problem. Yeah, I appreciate you being here, brother. And I look forward to getting your feedback for sure. So I think that these channels, our individual channels, are our way of documenting our independent journeys, right? And then, two people's like-minded ideas come together, or someone's curious about, this or that, and they want to know more, and you just building, let that compound interest add up, right? So, so here we go. I got to do a split screen for a second. And I want to start out on the idea about, the Captain Gun 82, came around not too long ago, and he finally put out a documentary, and I think he sparked my interest when he was mentioning the Little Ice Age. Let me make this bigger over here. So the Little Ice Age, we don't know exactly every year or when exactly it began, but there are several records and several indicators through different means about what happened during that time and where around the world was affected most. And when we start talking about the Urbano Monte map, right? And there are, let's see, the Tropic of Cancer, right? Then you got the equator, and these are the physical equators. We're not going to talk about the celestial quite yet, but we're going to get there. So around the exterior edges of the Urbano Monte map, there is the biggest uh, ring, let's say, ring.
I
Let
was
me pull
thinking the
up this
same
picture.
thing. Yep, the biggest ring, and it had a name all its own. Because I was looking. My bad. I'm sorry. I cut you off. But I was looking
Oh, you
at
got,
that, and it didn't say anything. It just said Antarctic. It said Antarctic. I think Sokolo something Antarctica, right? Antarctic. So I'm like, okay, it's the opposite of the Arctic. Just because it says Arctic doesn't does that mean, and was that in the? I'm sorry to cut you off, RG, but I was thinking about the same fucking thing today, bro. My bad, man. You know what? Let me let you talk, because I don't want to steal it from you, man.
you're
This is your thing going on. I apologize.
good.
You go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. I decided to come over and reset my screen to where we got the big screen here, and we can see a little more detail. Okay, got that set there. Okay. Oh yeah, and add the stage. There we go. Or no, that's my niece. Hold on one second. Uh, where are we at? And right there. I think this is the one here. There we go. Now I can go back down here. Do this thing. If I mess up so much, bro, so I want to get everything right while I'm doing this. Okay, so yeah, like as you were saying, and we were mentioning here, there is an exterior ring that we don't seem to talk about much, right? Or I've never really heard anybody mention, but right here where these little sharp angled comes up here, you got this. And this is identical to Capricorn, except the distance between them. Okay. Just take note of that. Keep note of that. Because from Capricorn to the equator is about half that distance. Okay. And then you want to come on over here, and from the equator, oh, sorry, the equator to Cancer is once again half that distance. I don't know why it keeps doing that. We'll get
Yes,
up there in a minute.
It's
I
like
just want to
20.
explain
It's
to
it's
where we
like
can get in
20.
our mind.
my bad, RG. My bad,
Mhm.
RG.
No, you're good. It's a little delay, but go ahead. I want to hear what you were saying.
Yeah, from the equator to
From the
Capricorn, it's
equator
like
to Capricorn. It's like
23 to
23
24
to 24
latitudes.
latitudes.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you notice, from coming from the center outward, not only does these distances seem to be consistently getting bigger, but your longitude lines as well, in which most flat earthers know that. From the north, it comes to a point, but as you come outward, it splays out wider. Now, who's to say or who's to determine that that is where it should end? That this should be a terminator line? I think this is a a measurement line for our area. This is to quarantine, not quarantine, but to cordon off and
Yes,
say,
yes.
this is where our known land is,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So
Bruh.
I think I
Listen.
wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah.
start. Mhm.
My bad,
My bad,
RG. Yo,
RG. Yo, I was thinking
much
along the
thinking
same line.
much
I'm
along the same
sorry.
line. I just want to make sure I'm
I just
interjecting
want
and
to
not
make sure I'm
interrupting, but I'm
interjecting and not
interrupting.
interrupting. But I'm interrupting. Go ahead, my bad, man.
You're doing good. You're doing good, Dad. I and so one of the things that I noticed more that hit me harder was talking about the Little Ice Age, and especially in France. So in France, it seems to be during let's just say during around the time this map was made. So between then and the mid 1800s, there's a 300-year period that is very well documented and talked about uh, period called the Little Ice Age. Now, if this is valid, and let's say that it is, let's assume that this map was mapped out correctly and it was mapped out over several hundred years, right, until this point being what we see on the screen here, right? And if things outside of this circle were to be, let's say, more icy of a realm, because, or as the most that we know as of now, we have one sun, and one sun does a circle, right? And it keeps things regulated. Now, what if on the outside of this ring, um, things had melted and just raised the sea levels, right? It would kind of make sense that as sea levels rose, that there would be less and less land. Okay,
Yep.
and I'll let you jump in right here. I wanted to say this, that you know we've we've had a lot of people that know about um, Latin long, that are sailors, that love maps. You've been one person I know of that really likes maps. So it's almost safe to say, if sea levels rose, right, that it would reduce the amount of land that's above the water. Okay, so if that's true,
later on the
and
modern chart.
things did seem to, my initial, or our initial, I know a lot of people that are flat earthers that thought, this was the only realm, right, that would be out there. So if things started to look different as time went on during, map making, and land seemed to have disappeared, we thought, oh, well, it was just different ways of mapping. Maybe people weren't as accurate, or, we would, I know I did. I jumped to a lot of conclusions kind of quick, right? But when we were looking at, Australia here, and most of it just being at Capricorn, this line here. Okay, let me go right back to big again. But um, so so if the current maps still show this these commercials. Oh my goodness, where did I go to? Sorry. Yeah. Tell me what you think about that though, Vlad. As far as like Capricorn still being lined up with damn, what has happened here? I'm sorry, guys. My computer got all wacky on me. It's probably here. Let me just go back. So yeah. But with Capricorn, still pretty much lining up with Antarctica. It's just
By
Antarctica looking
Montia's inhabited.
a lot smaller. What are your thoughts on that? Uh-oh. Did I lose you guys? Sorry, I think I messed something up. Just give me 1 second. Let me come back over here. You can still hear me, Autumn? Okay. I might have lost Vlad there. Um, hey, Vlad, if you can hear me, you may have cut out, buddy. I lost you. Let me see if, well, there you are. If I can't get you back up, well, oh, there we go. Can you hear me okay now, Vlad?
I got you, RG. Can you hear me? I got you, RG. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, that's better. That's better. Okay. I lost
Yes.
everybody there for a
They're
second.
saying that there's an echo.
There's a what? Echo?
Yes.
Satan, are you on the computer, buddy? Or let me see. Can you bring my phone? Is there still an echo?
Even if there is, I'm going to rattle.
If you don't mind.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
I just
think looking at this thing, man, this is why the whole record analogy kind of resonates with me. It's as if they're not fully telling us something. So it's not Jesus. I sound like a music. But it's not it may not be ice all the way in the south, ice all the way in the north. Here's why I'm saying that. Or it may not have been, excuse me. So the Arctic, anytime we think of the Arctic, what do we think? Ice, alpine, frozen, tundra, white, everything. So it's just strange to me, RG. The reason I'm saying this is because we were looking at the Arctic with everybody on my last episode. I was starting to recognize that there was a lot of shit that was a race. And I've already speculated before that I feel that we erased a lot of stuff and put a lot of stuff after the fact. I feel that we erased a lot of stuff and put a lot of stuff after the fact.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me okay? I didn't want to
Yeah, I could hear you just fine.
pause and then no one be able to hear me.
I could hear you just fine. So I want to say a couple more things. I want to land my plane because I don't say a couple more things. I sound like counterpointed. I want to land my plane because I don't like this echo. I sound like counterpointed.
You're good.
So there's a good possibility that over there, that they might be over there. They might be there. They might be landed. And then those things in the south water, the south water, where Gassiato and like frozen water and like frozen water. The reason they say that is because that they put it in after the fact. And this is why those little triangles at the bottom are there. I feel that those things are blocking shit.
That's man.
He put them there to block shit.
I felt like this is a smaller piece of a bigger map, and then these came in as an afterthought, right? That's just my thought.
Yeah,
No, that's
especially
that's
right
exactly what I think.
especially right in here where it's behind. It's almost as if some of this land, during the little ice age may have just been, oh, sorry, may have just been something that almost like a barricade. If there was more ice back
yes,
here,
yes.
and it just melted and raised up the water level in this part,
Yeah, yeah. To a degree, right. Let me shut
Let
up
me shut up
so I
so
can stop
stop
crazy.
crazy.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Good. So I'm just thinking. I'm thinking like as well that I'm going to get around to the more juicy part here in a second. But yeah. So this part here, if you guys can see my screen, where I'm kind of circling, this is where Drake's Passage would have been, right? or is now. Let's say if there is a Drake's Passage down there, that that and also the name of this land being um, Del Fuego, and this is why it's colored red, is explained, of course, uh, by Captain Gunn that they call this land that, and there's also proof of it now. But there are like almost like rivers of iron-rich uh, flows, right? So this it would in turn anything that is now white or ice. Um, Not necessarily saying there's a huge ice wall, but if a portion of this is still above land, and we've got current pictures of these iron flows of fluid, then this would be
Dude,
prime. This would be primed for that kind of uh, explanation and description. Yeah.
dude, you hit
You
the
hit
nail
the
right
nail
on.
right on.
Check this
Check
out.
this out. So
There's a
there's a
channel called
channel called
Florida
Florida
Marquee,
Marquee,
and
and
he does
he does
Antarctica
Antarctica
extensively.
extensively.
He's not a
He's
flat
not a
earther
flat
though.
earther though.
He just
He
looks
just
at
looks at
Antarctica
Antarctica
and
and
islands.
islands.
Can see
One
both
of the
One of
marine
the
things he
things he
found
found
in
in
Antarctica, I
Antarctica,
forget
I
where,
forget where,
but he was
but he
using
was using
Google
Google
Pro.
Pro.
He
He
found
found
red
red
rivers.
rivers.
That might
That
have been.
might
He
have been.
said
He
it
said it
was blood,
was blood,
and I was
and I was
like, it
like,
might
it
be
might be
oil.
oil.
But Land
But
of
land of
Fire,
fire,
it could
it
be
could be
either
either
oil or
oil
it could
or
be
it could be
iron
iron
ore,
ore,
or it could
or
be
it could be
oxidized
oxidized
iron
iron
ore,
ore,
Oxide.
rusted
rusted
water.
Hey,
water.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like it's super oxidized. And um, with that being said, whatever is left above the water, right? To us, still, even if it's just a little bit, bro, it would still be a fairly large chunk of land, right? Um, Nothing like what we've uh, thought in our minds and stuff. And I'm not saying what we've learned and helped each other come to realizations of is necessarily false. I feel as if we're just given enough to keep us still feel trapped. You know what I mean? To still feel like there's no other places to go. And not saying it's all like some huge like un I don't know. I just feel like there's something else that we're just not able to see because we've never right been in person. Uh and I don't say that in a way that I mean that we're stuck, right? Or anything like that. Uh um I just think we should maybe keep our minds open still, right? And not feel, content. Like that's I think that's a dangerous place to be is content because we then feel as if there's nothing else to go and there's no other reason, right, to go want to venture out. Let's leave it that way. Now here's I just want to show these routes, right? Routes, I guess you could say. Southern Pacific Ocean over here on this side, right? And then you got the Indian Ocean in the middle. Uh, does this look like maybe we're, there's a bunch of big corporations that only takes us to certain places? It sure seems like it, right? Um,
RG.
uh,
They still
Can't understand you because of that
I can
echo.
hear. Oh shit. Okay.
visible on the lunar.
And this is just when I talk, or let me go back over here. So I'm trying to think. I just want to make sure I don't have anything. Oh, I know what it is. Sorry guys. I forgot every time that I do the entire screen that I have to go back and unclick this. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. A lot of echo.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's right. I see what's going on.
I still hear
Screen
myself.
audio. There we go. What about now? Is that a little better?
All right. This is like I don't hear myself
Not.
for an echo.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. You don't have an echo. Is it a 5x5 in the chat there, guys?
Yeah, you guys hearing me?
It says better.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
H2 for like goats says yes.
Thank you.
Better.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
I thought
Okay.
it was my fault for a second. You know how I be having audio problems all the time.
Man, I'm still a rookie, brother. Believe me. So it's
Shit.
when you put it on entire screen, the option for entire screen, that's when it cuts out or starts echoing.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, man.
All right. Sweet.
So
So I basically I was just trying to get at the fact that, when you have corporations that control your travel, they control the forms and contracts
waterways.
and rules, right? Especially water voyages.
Yep. The
There's a
British
reason
own
why
that.
they done away, right? And there's a good reason why they did away or took airships underground, into military basically.
Yep. And then what it
So
does also, it allows us to revisit why the fuck the Holy Roman Empire or why the fuck they put them iron crosses on every other page or so often. Not even every other page, excuse me, because it wasn't patternized like that. But they would put on specific pages an iron fucking raised embossed cross. They would emboss a cross on there, an iron one. And I took pictures of this because I'm like, well, no, don't nobody know the fuck about this fucking thing. They don't even talk about it.
right.
What the fuck they doing? You know what I'm saying? This is their way of
Yeah.
control. But you can also see, RG, that a lot of the major waterways, you know what our Monty does? He talks about them. But in the South, he doesn't talk about any of those fucking those fissures in the land taking you outside the map. He doesn't even talk about them. He doesn't say, "Oh, this fucking body of water is called fucking Lego blocks, fucking straight of Lego blocks," and they're all straights.
Right.
It's not like they're just channels, plain old channels. And damn near every strait that Monty comes across, he labels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
when
and that shows the high detail that these people did back then.
So
Yeah.
you mean to tell me you're gonna bust out into high detail here, but you're not gonna bust out into high detail in the South? But I understand where he was like, yo, he's like, oh, the South doesn't have as many discovered cities. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand. But then as soon as you get to the channels, those aren't cities, they're just bodies of water, right? That lead elsewhere. You don't even talk about them. You don't even give heed to them.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so what I've been doing is I've been looking closely at my pictures, and I'm like, okay, this is what bleed over looks like. This is what erased fucking shit looks like. I've been finding a lot. If you go to that fish that looked like a bony fish, I forgot the coordinate from it. Fuck, man. But if you go to the bony fish in the South Seas, you'll see that motherfucker's over there. That thing it's covering shit up. A lot of those extra drawings that they put in are probably put in after the fact, or probably by direction of somebody else. Like Monty, you're gonna cover that shit up. Cover them shits up.
Yeah.
So he covered it up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit in there, like straight, like a lot of these freaking whatchamacallit are covered up. A lot of those animals, they using those animals to cover shit up, to cover things that were originally words, and you could see it in there. And I'm thinking I might have hyperdolia. I might be tripping. But I'm looking, I'm like, no, they're covering fucking words up.
No, it's a lot of people that's noticed, yeah, these things. So it ain't something that's wrong with you, brother. Trust me. Trust me.
Bro, and then
Yeah.
you see shit straight erased. And I'm like, that's not bleed over. I was like, I know what bleed over is, because you have some bled over images. Like
Mhm.
fucking Polo Magneto Husiarca. I was like, man, they tried to erase that shit. But we saw it. Plus
Yeah.
you got the whole fucking pyramid right there, or that big ass magnet right there next to Groenland.
Mhm.
Right? And so that's one of the
Yeah.
perfect
Yeah.
examples. But as soon as you start getting away from, as soon as you, if you start right in the middle, you'll see right around that star. That star was put there after the fact. It was covering shit up.
Right.
It was even covering up the parallels.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've got to be able to dig into it deeper. Like, dude, what's been on my mind lately, bro, about like these
Hmm.
maps and the goal that uh I've been thinking about for a while, but never really, thought about which maps to combine together, which how to overlap them, with the um with the opacity and stuff like that, and which way
Right?
to turn them. So I wanted to get with a software that I feel comfortable using, where I'm not struggling to try to learn all the ins and outs of the software. Just kind of have like a couple of packages that through a tutorial I could learn pretty quick. But like with one thing, I think the one I don't want to even call it a map, but the one in common kind of with flat earthers that are trying to get on the same page with, right, is the reflection of us. So instead of somebody traveling and trying to jot down Latin long, um, fixed positions and stuff like that, why not take
Use
what's
the
right
moon.
above our head? Yeah,
Bro,
just take what's right
listen,
above our head and try to. It
RG,
almost looks
this is why,
concave. But yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry. RG, this is why I feel that the moon is like, they might have not been now listen to me here, they might not have been lying when they said that the moon is reflected sunlight. Here's what I mean. It's not the moon that looks like if you remove the light from the moon, like it would maintain those images. I feel the moon itself is the sun, but in an opposite fashion. It might be
Mhm,
that the sun is reflecting off the earth and then bouncing back up into the sky and then giving you the image of what the moon is.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I, it's it's like that, but if you would think about if you have to have added in the one other factor, right, which would be the firmament, or
Right?
if you think of the firmament as what they call the Van Allen belts or the plasma, it's like a plasma ball, I guess you could say, but it's
Right.
it's something how people talk about the double toroid and the feeding in and the block domain wall where it's would be a flat middle point, right, or the
Right.
0 point energy. But you could
Hmm.
think of where we live as more solid and dense because this is where everything comes together, right,
Right.
and then everything else comes up and out of the sky would be your extended lines of your grid, basically your grid,
Right.
your
Right.
your
Right.
ley
Like a
line,
spider's web.
like your ley line. So if you took like what you're saying, the concept of, because if you go above the Earth, 100,000 feet and look down, this thing is bright. It's like it's shining with so much you know uh, um, magnitude of plasma that it wouldn't be so far fetched to say that, yeah, the more dense solid objects or land, right, and the geometry or patterns in it would, if it has telluric currents going and ley lines going under the land, right, which is what your torus would be feeding back up into from the bottom up, And then what comes out of the middle and goes up and around, that's going to be your boundary, I guess you could say, like your plasma boundary or your firmament boundary. Now, with kind of what you were saying, hey, let me tell my niece bye, you guys. I love you. Are you coming tomorrow? Or is it dad? Tired. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Love you. Be careful. Bye, Zayden. Love you. Um, so getting back at it, you guys can see me okay, right? I don't want to be all off and wonky. Like, uh, um, so yeah. So if your energy is coming up and through more dense medium and onto the firmament, like as a like an umbrella, I guess you could say. Um, my thing is with this, what we're talking about, the maps. I don't want to get too far off topic, but if you can see where I'm pointing here, all these little bitty, little spots here, little holes here, right? And you guys can see all that. I guess. Can you hear me? Okay, Vlad.
Yes, sir. I got you. Yeah,
Okay,
my bad.
awesome,
I didn't
awesome.
want to cut you off, man. I've been cutting you off too
So
much.
oh, you're fine, you're fine. So if we come back to this right here, right, to Monty's map, right, and you just notice all over this map, everywhere is crowded with little crater looking things or little pieces of land, right? And these would be the more dense areas. Now, your water is a type of plasma as well. So just imagine this right here, and you shine the flashlight up through the bottom, coming right into our face. On our face, what would there be? Think about it.
Mm.
What would be all over us? It would look like speckles, right? It would look like we have freckles.
Oh, right. I got you. Oh, because of the islands.
Just think about it. Yes, like the islands, yes, or
Right.
even land
Right. Or
that may
little
have
craters.
even land that may be solid, but underneath it has iron or magnetite or magnesium or zinc, whatever, right? It
Oh,
would
wait.
all shine through, I would think, onto like, like the idea of the
So do
firmament.
you think? So do you think this? Check this out. What if there is a metal within the earth that can't be shined through? Right? Like water gets
Right.
shined through, flesh gets shined through, but those metals, X-rays can't fucking penetrate.
Yeah. And if it had some kind of energy coming through it, maybe not to like a transparent metal. You just got to kind of follow me here. If
Right.
it would illuminate that metal. You know how they say they have a point to where everything's melts and glows or whatever. So think about this, like if the sun and the moon kind of have similar qualities as like you were saying, like where the magnetic force would come out and it looks like the plasma would just burst, and as the sun moved across the sky, that would be your solar wind. That would be the stuff left behind, right? It's moving through the
Right.
ether,
Yes.
so it's disturbing
Yes.
the ether as it moves. So
Right. Yes.
in a different spectrum, it would look different, right? In our
Right.
eyes, we can't see it. So
So so it's yes, and you can tell you get solar winds, or you get the trails, or the remainder of the sun cutting through the water, because we have hurricanes. Or we have some, it's like the sun is a physical object doing what it does, because we have hurricanes season, and we have typhoon season to counter that on the other side of the world. You know what I'm saying? So I feel as
yeah,
if,
well,
like, those trails, it's almost like when you cut your hands through a bathtub, and then you have those little whirlpools after you drag your
yeah,
hands, right? It
yes,
makes that little whatchamacallit, it makes a spiral. That
of
spiral
course, yeah,
is your hurricane. It is your cyclone.
exactly,
That goes counter of what your northern spiral does.
right. And
Go ahead, my bad.
think about it, and think about it as above, so below. So um, in the ground, in the earth, or under the ocean, right? The denseness. Now, if we have something that could be projected, and I hate the word you know, I don't hate the word, but like simulated, projected, those are almost like taboo words nowadays. But if you think, if there is something under the surface down here, right, that is being affected by the movement through the ether, right, and something here like water, and then over here would be something more dense. Now, depending on the properties of what's in the ground, under the ground, it would then affect what's above it as well, almost like a radar. If it went down and penetrated or the water and there was nothing under it, it would just, the wave would go through. But, you know, if it went through and hit something that was, say, magnetic, right, and it was electrically charged, it would then return, but it's just all happening in different perspectives, right? So
Right.
we can't expect science to explain and tell us these things if it's only out for material explanations, right? So we
Right.
can deal with in our senses. Uh, but with that being said, I did want to move on and just kind of point these things out, little things here, like okay, so in going through
But,
here would have been.
RG,
uh,
I'm sorry to
yep.
interrupt you, bro.
Okay.
Dude, think about this though. The Earth could very well be a mirror. I think they might have
Like
said that it could. Yeah, it
like a
might be the
mirror.
mirror. And here's why I'm saying that. And what you have to consider is this: if you're getting a result like the moon, right, and the sun goes and then the moon follows sometimes until it disappears and you have no moon. What if the sun could be measured? The way they measure it is based off of the angle at which it typically strikes the earth to give you a projection of the moon. So
Hmm.
you know where the sun is, or and based
Hmm.
off of a full 99.9% visible moon. And here's the
Hmm.
thing: that moon, that's 99.9% full. Everybody's going to see that moon
Hmm.
until
Hmm.
for at a certain time, for a certain time. Everybody's going to see it. But then
Hmm.
it's like it's called the angle of incidence. It's like you can
Hmm.
tell where the sun is based off of the angle that it's striking the earth, because then you have a opposite effect, which is the moon, and you know where that is.
Yeah, you would have an optical trail. That's how bees see, by the way. So you would have optical trails of these extended lines of force up into the sky, the extended ley lines, right? So this is where the
Hmm.
idea for me, the idea for me of celestial equator and celestial positioning would be a
Mm.
mirror of your ground lat long, right? It just goes up
Okay.
into
Right. Okay.
up
Yes.
around the firmament. I guess you could say the firmament, right?
Okay.
Um, so let me go pull up what I was going to pull up. Let me make sure I'm good through here. But oh, here's the other thing I wanted to mention. So if you can see on
Yeah.
screen here, right? Kind of where I'm circling, this would be what we would consider. Keep this in mind. Hold on. What we would
Right.
consider being being where we live, like the section that we know about, is how it's spoken of. Okay. Um. Now, if if on the ground plasma and the energy could come through and project onto a, let's say, screen, to say a plasma living entity, right? And the stars are described as being in the firmament. So if you took those two concepts and you merge them, right, and say, well, our eye, right, is shaped a certain way, and we know at a distance things come to a point, right? This very, very center of our eye come to a point, and they also seem to take on the shape of our eye, even though it could be a triangle or an octagon, right? The further it got away, the more it would seem as if it's circular. Okay. I don't know how to say that. I'm just going to come out and blurt it out, right? How I think. This is my thought process. So everything that is on this side of, I'm going to call it the eye in the sky. Okay. I'm going to call the moon the eye in the sky. Now, the eye in the sky is
Hey man,
mysterious.
you want to know something? You might be onto something because they did the Hennessy commercial. So you might be right on track. Not even thinking about it. Go ahead, man.
Okay. Okay. So if the eye in the sky is made of some type of translucent, energetic, um, semi-solid, let's say plasmatic, semi-solid, um, and we have a firmament, and the sun and moon are under the firmament or within, let's say, the firmament, and the Earth is alive as well. And the higher up we get, it seems that we can tell, no, regardless of what gases it's made of, it's alive and it's in an excited state because it's so bright. Like, you know what I mean? It is common sense to me, it seems like. But so if we were to get um, several different materials that are not only electric but magnetic, and we're sending off these waves, right, from energy coming down and back up, or just energy coming up, and it's
Hmm.
excited, and when the moon's closest and it's full, it's fully excited as well from
Right.
all the other energies. And then a new moon would be it, maybe through the anode and cathode process, just resting. It's going back into a rest state, and then
RG.
as it goes, then huh.
No, no, I keep going. I don't. Let me know when you land your plane. I didn't want to cut you off. Keep going because that's actually.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
Cool, cool. Okay, so if we're able to pass energy, we know through things, and the moon, for some reason, there is a very common occurrence on the moon that is circular places, which a lot of us think it's some type of electrolysis that took place, a plasma event, maybe wrecked this place, melted buildings here, and something happened. But I'm thinking if all these little, all the stars that we see as well, not all of them, but a majority of them are circular with a rim. Has a rim, looks like a plate, and then there's a spot right in the middle. I don't know what that spot is, but it's very common in stars. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. We're going to get into it a lot deeper, but here's my thing. I think the sun, or not the sun, but the moon is projecting the stars onto the firmament. Just my thought.
They very well. They very well.
I was thinking that too. That could be the case. How? Somehow? I don't know, but I thought of that. But another thing I was thinking, RG, is along those lines, what if the whole setup is like the eyeball? What if it's like the eyeball? And here's what I mean. Look at an eyeball, right? Your North Pole could be the black part,
Mhm.
and the between the equator and not the equator, but between the tropics and everything else could be the colored part, and then the rest could be your ice wall, which are the whites of your eyes, or what people would consider your
Mm,
ice wall. What if it's
yeah.
set up like that, and every blink is the appearance of the moon and the disappearance? Once your eye is closed, moon is there, or the
Yeah,
moon is not there. You got a new moon. It's a
like
reset.
your
Yes, because
your sugar
yes,
rate. Yeah.
yes, because what if it's either like that or yeah, right, like once the moon is gone, it's a reset. It's a blink. You're blinking.
Yeah.
Like you blink,
If
you
if
close
it's
your eyes
if it's
once
if it's
and
if
then
it's
you
something
open
like
it.
a game, it's something like gaming where you have refresh rates. Um, dude, it very well could be because I know what the military uses, bro, is next fucking level generation. To where you're literally there is no lag time from Brazil to America and back. It's like you're literally there, and every movement you make through this equipment, it steers that plane like a real life planes, like real life equipment. That's anyway. I'm excited, but can you see what's on the
No,
screen
no, no.
here?
Huh? Let me see. That
Hmm.
looked like a bunch of fruity pebbles on some shit.
Don't it? So yeah, this is actually uh, a replica of the moon, they say. And you see all the
Mhm.
little bitty circles. Now, listen to me, folks. Don't jump on me. Don't get mad. I'm just spitballing, okay? And this is kind of makes sense to me that if we're on the ground, um, have you ever seen a projected hologram right above like the flat surface? Have you guys ever seen one of them where it
Above?
projects? Yeah,
No,
there's like a
I
little
don't think so.
platform, and then there's a little ray of light that comes up, and then right here
Oh,
above the flat surface there will be a 3D image, and then
okay.
above that on your ceilings, you've got little dots everywhere going in circles. Now,
Mm,
this is kind of my train of thought. This is kind of what the reason why I'm saying this now. If let's just say we're down here looking straight up, but we're not
uh-huh.
looking at the underneath. We're not looking at the underneath side because it's concave, right?
Hmm.
It would be a concave kind of mirror effect. And as this mirror moves around the realm, it rolls as well, like a wagon wheel, right?
Hmm.
So it's not only, or from our perspective, it's not going like you see on the screen here. It's doing the opposite. It's going round and round. Um, if there's some kind of energy being projected from the bottom, then you would, I mean, it would only make sense if you can do it, replicate it, through holographic technology here now, that God would have such a outrageously advanced type of thing, right? My thing, my train of thought is why stop at, it's just a light in the sky? Why not speculate a little more and
Right.
try to match it up with what we see on the ground? All right, so let's go
Right.
one step
Okay.
further here.
Huh.
One step
Okay.
further.
That's
hmm
food for thought. I don't think I ever
Let me
considered
jump
that.
over here. Yeah, yeah, it is. And also, what's flat here on the ground? Let's just say, hypothetically, all the features on the ground, what I was just showing here on the map, the moon map, right in here. Okay. Oh, let me go. Let me not play that. So if we go a little further here, and also what I was showing you on the dang it, I'm losing my little train of thought. Urbano Monte. As I was showing you on Urbano Monte as well, there's just speckles. Oh, it like somebody threw a handful of Cheerios out there, right? and and they just landed how they landed. And what if something's being projected upwards and it's just coming to a point at the moon? You know what I mean? And a lot of people are already thinking like this on these lines. But if you take the concept of the moon having all these little craters, so to say, we know it's not craters, but and whatever
Right.
happened on Earth, whatever kind of accident happened through the plasma discharge, right?
Hmm.
In the thunder, there's thunderbolts of the gods. If you ever read that book, where it seems as if our sky once looked a whole lot different, and people all over the world went and carved these little carvings, and it's there was so many similarities, but worldwide. So I do think whatever happened on the ground, whatever happened and hit the ground, also um, it affected the white light, because where in the Bible does it talk about, it talks about two great lights, but where does it say the lesser light is full of, you know,
Full of holes. Right.
full of, full of holes? Yeah, like
Right.
I ain't never read nothing like that.
Right.
Um, so I think some kind of freak accident happened, and we're now looking at projections onto our firmament, which it says, in the Bible it does say these are in the firmament. It doesn't say it doesn't say they're,
On the
like
surface of the
in other
firmament.
words, yeah, to me it seems like it's merged with the dielectric field, or the dark part of the sky. Um,
Hmm.
and the electric energy coming through mixes with the magnetic of the earth, like, metals, and
Hmm.
it's creating very similar looking stars, but there are some that are different. And you're also seeing movement, like not just from the wavy ether, but it seems that some do have points to them rather than just circles. Um, and maybe those are exceptions. Maybe those are not um, exactly what you would think you would see. But I just wanted to start out with that, guys. I wanted to bring that up and see what you guys think, because what else I'm about to show you is pretty cool in my opinion. Let me close this out, guys. Yeah, did you want to mention anything else, Vlad, or move on to
Well,
anything
yeah,
else?
all that could be it, man. All that could be it. It sounds like it could be it. Who knows, man? Like this thing is just
Mm,
getting weirder and weirder. It's to
okay.
me, it's just getting weirder and weirder, and man. So it might be it. Now, the whatchamacallit, the lines, those lines, the tropic lines, they're not there just to be there, right? They're not just drawn in because that's what's cool, but it appears as if that's the boundary of the sun and the moon,
Mhm. Right.
right? So then, what
Yeah.
would that
Yeah.
boundary on the
Yeah.
outermost ring be? Is my thing, because we could say,
Yeah.
"Oh,
And
that's
and
where
did you
we stop," but yeah.
yeah did you mention, or did you notice? I haven't looked. I can go back and look. But did you mention any or mention? Did you notice any suns on that outer line?
Suns.
'Cause yeah, how on the Urbano Monte it's got. Let me go back to it.
Oh,
Like on the
yes, like how
Capricorn
it
and
has.
Cancer.
Right. And no, I did not see a sun on that outer line. I did not. No. I think I would have
I'm
seen
gonna
that, and I was looking at that yesterday. I did
okay.
not see that.
I'm gonna look just for good measure, make sure we're not overlooking anything. Because if it's not, if it's just like a determining boundary line, then it wouldn't have anything like that on there, right? Like I said, I'm gonna.
Um well, I don't know. I don't but this is why I'm questioning, when did they put that thing in there? But
Right.
did they have to put that thing in there? Right? Because on the outside of the map, also, you still have those triangles. And to me, I'm like, okay, now I'm looking at those triangles in the meridians. It's like it just serves as something to block shit off. Like, why y'all blocking shit off? It's like, because if you look closely, you might find some stuff. You might find some things that they're hiding. You could definitely find smudge marks, and this isn't bleed
Oh
through,
yeah. Yep.
because we see
I've
what
seen
bleed
that.
through is, and it is in the correct direction. Like, you'll see an S pointed in the right direction. You'll see a R pointed in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Hmm.
not bleed through.
Exactly.
It's not bleed through, because bleed through shit would be backwards, or if it was like a mirror image, because stuff, the page was closed but it got water or juice on it or something like that, and then it would leave the print, and then that print would be in reverse. So I'm like, yeah, man, I see these
Yeah.
motherfuckers out there. It appears as if they just erase it, or they just try to smudge it out.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna all right, cool, cool. I like where you're going with that. I'm gonna play this right here. This is a short clip
Yeah,
from Seorsa, and he's
man.
mentioning, pay close attention, because he's mentioning that anytime that you would have a correct theory about a map, right? You would always want that key or legend. You know what I mean? To say where is
Yes,
where, and how to get,
yes,
you know, and a lot of times, maps people use lat long systems, right?
yep.
So I think where he's going with this is, where is the lat long system for the moon map, right? And and if the moon that we are observing is not solid, like knock on wood solid, but it's something that is there, that you can go and maybe it gets bigger as you get closer to it, kind of thing. And the way he's going to mention this is pretty eye opening, and to say the least. So I'm gonna play this right quick.
Okay.
Hopefully, if you guys don't hear it, just let me know. Okay. Okay. Can you hear that when I played it?
I can't
Let
hear
me play
nothing.
it one more time. All right, I'm gonna play it one more time. If you don't hear it, let me know. No?
I don't hear nothing.
All right, I know what to do. I gotta go. I gotta go back here and put the sound back on. Give me 1 second, guys. Appreciate everybody being here. Got 5 in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Big Pine, Miss Walker. Good to see you. And Miss Jeeps, Jay Hartley. Appreciate you guys. You guys and ladies. Man, I got more ladies in here tonight than gentlemen, it seems like, huh? Ain't a bad thing. Okay, here we go. I'm going to unmute this and I'm going to replay it. If you cannot hear it, let me know, please. All right, let's get back over here. Okay.
To this continent was called the Jepanoki people. Now,
Is that better, you guys?
I can hear it. I can hear it. I can hear it. Yep.
Okay, here we go.
bear in mind that the mainstream narrative says that this continent, which a remaining part of it is now called Antarctica, was only discovered and explored in 1911. But here it is, over 300 years earlier, detailing its civilization, ports, rivers, and terrain. Now, there's good reason why these two landmasses were called the Land of Fire. This land bleeds red rivers. From Admiral Byrd's expeditions landing on 300 square mile patches of warm areas on Antarctica were thermally warm lakes. Like I was showing you earlier with the island of Deception, this massive island that they use as a port, very close to where Monty's port was. Thermal hot springs and red rock all over the place. These are some of the reasons why this land was referred to as the Land of Fire. South from South Mexico to Galicia. South from California to Lakesh. I'll get onto this later, but this is where the cult and some of their puppets live. South from South China to Nova Guinea, and this one will blow your mind later. And Monty detailed its inhabitants, who are amongst us. South from South India to Patalia, and again detailed by Monty as inhabited. South from West Africa to what I call Vista 3. South from South Africa to what I call Vista 2 and 1. And in Monty's timeline, this land was discovered by the Portuguese. And we'll be coming back to all of these later on the modern chart. As I briefly explained towards the start, the moon is not a solid object that Freemasons can land on. It's a focused electromagnetic plasma phenomenon. Electromagnetic energy comes from below the Earth at the magnetic north. The moon is a reversed image of our flat world's floor plan.
Adam, he seems to think it's a reversed image. All right.
Mirrored bird's eye view. Our never-changing face of the moon. By altering the colours, the world around us starts to appear. And I'll refer to this as the political map. It will help you get your head around it a bit better. This lunar map is so accurately detailed that it's an impossibility for it to be a coincidence. I believe in nothing, and I've tried to debunk it, but I can't. It lines up perfectly with the Monty, and I know the Monty map to be accurate. And there's some of you thinking, Captain, you're contradicting yourself now. You said a map is only a real map if it retains a built-in key, a navigational guide to navigate the very map itself. And you're right. Don't take them eyeballs off your screen. Perfection. There's the key.
Now, okay. Okay, so you know, this is it's something. Excuse me, it's something that if you if you let it slip through your fingertips by just brushing it off, right? First chance you get it, I would highly recommend that you revisit the idea because um, if something is hollow or or if it's something that you can project through whatever frequency or whatever range of you know infrared or ultraviolet, whatever it takes, I wouldn't discount it so quick because also if there is something that our creator put us within, right, and not just an atmosphere, not just ether, but something that uh, over over a certain height can be if it's malleable to the point where you can project some type of image onto, you know that would be the easiest way to start to recognize that you know there's no way that this stuff is infinitely far away. I mean, if it's if the firmament itself isn't too far away, then yeah, a focused energy could very easily splay out, especially if it's coming through a curved surface, right? It's not something that's just going straight on. It's going in every direction, right?
Right,
Right,
kind of like a
like a
parabolic
parabolic
disc.
disc.
Parabol. There you go. Yes, that's a great example. And so when I seen
The
this,
Monty
I was like, hold on. I was like, hold on. I've seen this somewhere before. Like this started ringing a bell, like bringing up a like visual memory. And I'm like, hold on, I've seen this somewhere because someone else that I'd been studying for quite a while just, I mean, I never mentioned because no one else really bothers um, to really exploit these kind of topics because of, it being in the sky or too far away, too radical of an idea to think you can wrap your head around it. Well, what if 10 people put their heads together and try to wrap their head around it? How could we, how could we start to verify that it is a valid possibility, not something we can go up and just touch? And, I get
Right,
that. I get that. I'm dreaming if I think I can just go grab a star and pull it down, but I can get pretty close optically, right? Um,
right.
to, and especially if you reverse engineer the fact that you have constellations that you can match up to a Terra to land. You see what I'm saying? You see my point?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you were to take a shape out of the sky that is very unique, right, and then overlay it onto other maps and stuff, and it matched up without you having to do too much, that would be a pretty big clue that as above, so below is an actual real thing. Um, and especially if you think about the metals and the energies coming out of the ground, and they vibrate at a
Yes.
certain frequency, they would also vibrate at a certain color, right? So what if you
Mm-hmm.
look up at a certain star in a certain constellation and it's green, yellow, and purple, right? Just whatever. and
Right,
it's
right.
and it's and it's got this waviness, it's energy to it. And then you tried to overlay it on the ground and went and took some spectrometer equipment or spectroscopy, whatever you ever going to call it, and you find out, oh shit, this has got magnesium, iron, and copper.
Yes.
Damn, these vibrate the same color as
Which
what
is
the damn. What am I? Yeah, yeah.
right.
Okay.
Right. Which is
Yeah.
probably how they try to say shit like, oh, this place has a bunch of magnesium on it. That's probably how they do that. It's
Yeah.
probably here on Earth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's how you do it. Yep. As long as you got your little metal detector that's going to make a certain beep or whatever, you got it set to a certain sound for a certain
Yes, yes.
wavelength coming off of metals. That's how they find, certain things they're looking for. But I'm spitballing because I feel as if, us being flat earthers and wanting to know nothing but the truth, right? And how we get to that shouldn't matter. I don't think. I don't think we should be put off because we want more than just, a no answer. It'll never be. You can't. And it discourages people. I think. Now, with that being said, I don't count on me to have all the answers. I figured that what's in the sky. I'm starting to really feel as if, these people, man, dude, these people and their equipment can see some things that, I mean, that we would never think we would see up there. Um, and the reason I'm bringing that up is because there's this guy that I've been looking at for a while. His name's John Leonard Walson. He's an older cat. I mean, he's been doing he's built his own, I don't want to call it telescope, but his own systems of full spectrum cameras that are like, I mean, huge. They're like 20 foot or 15 foot, and some are like 2 foot in diameter, and he's got all this equipment hooked up at once. That way he can just flip through channels and frequencies as he pleases, right? Without having to change lenses and do all this extra work. So he's a very brilliant guy. That I'll link him here. But do you remember, Vlad, the Star Wars project they did in the Cold War?
80s.
Yeah, in the late 70s, 80s.
Yes.
Reagan's era. Well,
Yeah. And they can't.
Well, they say they can't say that, right? But of course, there's a lot of things they say they don't do anymore. But they got big old black budgets, So, but no. The reason I say that is because this guy John Leonard Walson, he's capturing these plasma entities. I want to say these plasma structures to where you can see the definite outline of it, but they're like the purple or whatever channel frequency he's got it set to, right? Will be different colors, but he can show you the framework of these quote unquote satellites. Now, are they plasma things just being shot up there onto the background medium, maybe like the stars are? I don't know. But it sure is interesting to be told that there's nothing up there, but then you start going and looking, doing the research. It's like, there's some stuff up there, bro. Now, I've seen plenty on balloons. I've seen, but I've never seen this kind of radiating, like pulsating fabric. It almost seems like that, that these things are either partially made of, but I know the propulsion system, what it looks like is plasma, straight up, just ion, like ion technology that, and we'll get into air in a second. My subject tonight is what's above us, right? This is my way of trying to get my thoughts out, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, let's finish this up real quick, and then we'll get right into that other gooey, juicy stuff. Right.
Yes, sir.
Chart is amazingly accurate for its day. The lunar chart is amazingly accurate today. Before I get stuck in, I want to thank Vibes of the Cosmos for it.
Oh, by the way, Vlad, that little line you just seen, the little the border line, what we would see. Get back here. I'm gonna
Archie, yo, I got out of here.
Had a bounce. Okay. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, brother, and joining for a little bit. I appreciate you, man.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah.
If you get a chance to catch it later, just give me your thoughts,
Yes, sir. You got it.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right. Peace, y'all.
Accurate for its day. The lunar chart is amazingly accurate today.
Here's the edge I was just mentioning. So, oh, let me get this out of the way. Sorry about that. Okay, so on the Urbano Monte map, there is a line on the exterior. So this here, let's just say for you know, just for conversation's sake, on the Urbano Monte map, this would be like the Capricorn, right? This would be the furthest, allegedly, that the sun can travel outward. And when I think a little different, when instead of saying outward, I would say Capricorn would be the lowest on a firmament circuit. Let's, that Bible calls it circuit. Why not call it circuit? Okay. And then up here would be like, the equator, like right in there somewhere. And then up here would be your Cancer. And I don't say it's the closest in to the middle. I would say this is the highest point on the firmament. So as the sun goes up and down throughout the year, through its analemma, it would do something like this. Up, down, up, down, up, and then all the way around. Sorry, all the way around the circle. Why this thing keeps jumping like that? Well, that's a really cool thing with magnets. Y'all want to learn how to make some cool little get-ups. These are right here are neat. So let me go back. I'm getting off track. I'll come right back into the comments here.
And you're right. Take the eyeballs
So what he's
off your
basically
screen.
showing when he changes the contrast, if you notice there's a bunch of little dots here, dot, 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 dot. And then, right in these areas where it's more concentrated dots, you could think of it like a galaxy, okay? And once again, disclaimer, I'm not saying this is exactly the truth and what you have to think. I'm not saying that at all, trust me. I'm just now getting to where my thoughts are exploratory in this area because I'll be honest, I was turned off from it. I was turned off from people, when you start talking about this and they're like, dismiss what he's saying. I almost feel like people were trying to shut me up. But anyway, we'll get back into it. So when you see these very, very concentrated areas, okay, that would be being projected up onto the firmament. So this would be a small version of lights being projected onto the firmament. Okay. And this outside barrier here would be that widest circle on Urbano Monte's map. Okay. That was there for a reason. I don't know why, but I'm starting to think there's something to it. Why would you put a line but never talk about it being another tropic? Right? It don't make sense. Unless this is a precessional wheel tropic, meaning you can see my map. I'm going to make it a little bigger. All right. If you can see my mouse. Okay. This outside, this is the moon. This is just the contrast being changed. And the lightest parts of it, the brightest parts of it, are being shown through. Now, the black part, okay, this is your dielectric field. This is your ether, okay? It's just the light is being shown through it. Or there was some kind of destruction, I don't know, a long time ago. But this being a precessional wheel, I was thinking that on, even though this is the moon, there is a map, a World War II German map, that was used to show a lot of details, and I've got it in there in my living room. I'll have to show it next time, but it's like a 6 foot by 6 foot version of it. It's huge. But anyway, back to my point. So if the center of a much bigger circle, like the Prague map, let's just say the true north, let's just say it was right here. Let's just say that's the center of a much bigger wheel. And now this outer border here, this wheel, if you will, is circling in a northwestern motion, up and around, right? Up and around, up and around. And we see that in the magnetic north line moving, and it seems to be speeding up, they say. So anyway, let's just say this whole circle, if you can see on the screen, this whole circle just slowly works its way around processional. We have all had those thoughts, and we've all looked into that. I'm sure if you've been in flat Earth for a while, you would know that. Yeah. So I think that just this version here on the screen could be energy just being projected upwards from the realm we live in, because we know it's full of energy. Yeah. So it's almost as if we're looking into an alternate realm by looking up and through the ether at the moon. And people are like, oh, get out and get crazy. They went crazy when they were like, oh, there's a lunar wave. Look at the wave, man, it's a wave, right? But anybody with a decent camera, when you look up and through everything, it's waving constantly. It's always in motion. The ether is never stable, right? So my whole point in this right here, showing you guys this, is that I do think it's a process that we are part of, but it's happening up in the sky, not only once or twice, but it's almost like we're looking up through multiple fractal happenings, right? There's us looking up, then there's the moon, right? But on the moon, you have a bunch of spherical things that are being projected up onto the ether, and then it could even go deeper and deeper down into those stars, and then start back over again or something. You never know. I'm just spitballing, but I do think that you guys should know this and see this, what more than just one person is putting forth. It's not as if I'm just getting on here and being a fanatic, crazy about it. I really want other people to see this, that say, no, it's not possible. Forget about it. It's up there. It's out of the realm of possibility. Fuck that. Man, just don't even think about that, Russ. RG, don't even do that, man. You're gonna embarrass yourself, RG. It's like, yeah, man, it's ridiculous, man, how people talk when they themselves haven't even given it a chance yet, So I'm being vocal. I know I'm being a little sporadic, but all right, here we go. Let's finish this out real quick, and I'll jump over and show you guys some pretty cool plasma things up in the sky, whatever they are, rather than the stars. They're just like right there in your face, bro. They're like so close. And I don't mean aliens. Like, I mean like things that man is capable of doing. Like, and that we've had these capabilities, man. And people want to brainwash you and make you think it's not possible. Are these people getting paid to shut us up? Try to? I don't know.
Perfection. There's the key. The Monty chart is amazingly accurate for its day. The lunar chart is amazingly accurate today. Before I get stuck in, I want to thank Vibes of the Cosmos for his years of research on this subject. His work's outstanding, and with respect to Vibes and every other genuine truth journalist, unfortunately, like most researchers, they make mistakes and sometimes don't comprehend the bigger picture and allow themselves to be blindsided with beliefs pushed upon them. So like with all these subjects I've touched on during this presentation, I've corrected, connected and finished Vibes of the Cosmos' work on this particular subject. Vibes has got the locations of the exterior lands in the incorrect areas geographically, in the wrong order, and even missing in his seemingly unfinished work. These mistakes were for 3 reasons. 1. Vibes doesn't understand the destruction of the recent Little Ice Age between the 1587 Monty map and modern maps and the severe amount of land lost. 2. Vibes is not an expert in cartography specialising in Old World cartography and particularly the Abono Monty 1587. 3. Vibes is not a sailor nor truly understands marine navigation, chart plotting or astronavigation. Vibes mistakenly labelled this landmass as Nova Guinea, but this is actually...
Oh, so guys, what I was talking about true north, if let's just say hypothetically in our circle, okay, hypothetically, and this is Hyperborea, where the 4 lands, right, meet, and where the original Tigris, Euphrates, and so on and so forth, the rivers, right, came out of. Okay, fine. I mean, cool. I mean, I don't disagree with this is our north, right, in our part of this realm, but right around in here would be, the edge of the circle, and then right in here would be our true north of all we can see right now as far as the moon map, right, and what it shows. Now, if you pay attention closely around the edges, see here where my mouse is, there's other lands, okay, all the way around, there's other lands. So is what's projecting light up through the moon only so big that it only captures part of what's going on? And maybe it doesn't capture what the other lands are out there and what they reflect up onto the firmament? And isn't there a version that says there's 7 firmaments, 7 planets, and they're circular? Maybe because the firmaments are arched and the light coming up through the other land is just showing a piece of the whole, right? And they're a ball shape because of the arch, the shape, and the eye. I mean, we have to think about this and not just let it end at what we're told, guys. Our minds have to expand in the manner that we don't want any simple ass shit anymore. I don't. I'm a complex person. I would love to venture and do more things, spiritually and mentally, sorry, let me calm down for a second. I'm just, I don't think it's fair to be told by your fellow people, right? Even though this is an independent journey, it doesn't feel good to be shut down before given a chance. And then the same crowd turn around and say, their piece and expect it to be like, this is the end all be all. Ha, ha, ha. Wink, wink, right? Like, yeah, man, don't listen to this guy, but hey, I got it, right? I say I don't got it, but I've got an idea of what starting to piece together makes sense, and it's only because of all of y'all and all of everyone else's work that as an artist, I'm able to visualize, right? And put these pieces together. So, all right, this is almost over. Let's finish up.
What I've outlined here was Nova Guinea's original location before the destruction of the Little Ice Age, and everything inside this line was part of Nova Guinea. And here are the rest.
This is pre-ice melting, which I'm not talking about thousands and thousands. I'm talking about the Little Ice Age, the little event that was just around the corner back not too long ago.
As you can see, this includes Australia and New Zealand, amongst other surrounding islands like Fuji. I can undeniably prove this geographically amongst dozens of other proofs, mainly with the help of Monty's map, the key. And the implications are mind-blowing. Australia is full of old world and even ancient architecture predating the recent reset and the Little Ice Age, meaning there was built up architecture and infrastructure not only in our known world, but even in the outer lands that surround us.
That's exciting to hear. Imagine somebody that's already made these trips. It's a big ocean. You think they can surveil everything? Imagine if not this guy, but maybe he's been given something that can finally solve, or not solve, but show us that we don't have to be here in this realm of what we're told is a ball, like we're trapped, right? We don't have to be trapped anymore, guys. Like we have to let our kids' minds venture, let them go. Just let them go. Don't allow, or don't put hindrances upon them before, looking into these things, guys. It's not fair to our future generations. So anyway, let's keep going.
The mainstream tells us that Australia was discovered by James Cook in 1770 and named Australia around 1825, and every old world building there was founded after. And as you can see on the Monty map, Australia's massive landmass is missing in the highly detailed area that Australia should be in geographically. There's only one country missing on the entire Monty map. Guess which one? Yep, Australia.
Antarctica. Oh,
But in reality, Monty
No, that
didn't
is-
miss Australia out.
yeah,
It's
that
right
is
in
up
front
there.
of you. Well, what Australia used to look like before every volcano in the area blew their tops all at once for years on end, causing massive earthquakes, mudslides, and entire countries to fall into the oceans during the Little Ice Age that only ended in 1860. Now, let me give you one of the undeniable proofs, then I'll get on.
Come over to comments right quick. Check on everybody. Make sure everybody's doing good. Sorry, I had it on full screen. I couldn't really see too much. All right, we got 8 people. Thank y'all for being here. This is getting exciting to me, like super exciting, bro, because it's not. Um, sorry, Maria, I didn't see you till just then, hun. Okay, it says hear about the alleged alien mummies. 3, I think, that were found in Mexico and South America. I did, yes. Like I don't know, within the last few weeks. In the MRI, them, I think demons, bro. Yeah, I seen something very similar to what you're talking about, but it wasn't. It was a little while back, a few months ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. Um, yeah, there's some really weird shit that went on before the destruction of the Little Ice Age, and a lot of flooding, a lot of mud floods and stuff. But so I've been recently seeing over the last like 2 years, um, things being dug up on. Sorry, I'm looking over here. I should be looking at you. So things being dug up on people's land, and just watching the excavation happen, and it's large-headed things like crystal skulls with weird languages. Um, there was, how they have the little on the Egyptian walls and different like Sumerian walls. They have the winged beings with the long beards, and they have the little egg looking things, and they're pointed at people's heads and stuff. Um, I've seen some of those dug up, and and when you turn on black light, under a black light, it glows like fluorescent green. It's just like it's weird. It's weird, but what do we know about crystals and about frequencies, right? And it would make sense that they're doing some kind of communication or manipulation of items. So I've seen some weird things. Now, I'm not saying there are aliens running around everywhere. You guys don't take me wrong. What I'm saying is what I've seen, and how they're depicted on other civilizations' walls, right? Uh, it was exactly what they dug up, but it was large-headed beings. So I think maybe some of these carvings they changed. Um, and with that being said, I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but I believe there's absolutely been four, and maybe we're the fifth re re uh, reset in different types of beings, different types of humans, maybe. But you know how all these other cultures would cram their babies' heads into like these weird, like fucking wrapped them up. You know, it was too. And the Doans, how they paint themselves, like white and dance around in weird ways. It's their way of carrying on their maybe that part of their the realm. You know, the older ancestors, right? So yeah, just to answer that question, I just wanted to, yeah, and I do too. I don't want to believe it because I don't want to think, you know, I'm not the only creation that's ever been, right, that's ever been on this realm. Like that would just be weird. But if I'm not, I would love to know the truth about it, right? I don't want anyone to be like, you know, just by the fact that, oh, we've seen things in the air, therefore there's, you know, all kinds of aliens, and like that's just a cop out. You know what I mean? It's a cop out instead of really wanting to dig down as much as you can, pun intended, and figure these things out, right? Uh, and I'd rather do that with you fine people because you know, you guys really help me. You guys help me whether you know it or not. Um, I'm finally up. You finally get to see me in person. So but I just, if you're not careful, blood pressure, yeah, blood pressure can be a doozy. I used to get bad headaches when I first broke my neck. Cousin Eddie's Chocolates Ghost Sauce is called. You can buy it online if so intrigued. Ghost chocolate ghost, like spicy Big Pine. Like that's an odd combination, but I can dig it. I just can't do too hot because you know I'll be looking crazy in a wheelchair doo dooing on myself. That that don't happen very often, people, but it does happen, right? I need to wear my Depends. Jeeps, good to see you, friend. Good to see you, Jeeps. 311 goes back as far as Babylon. Yes, that's a predicted eclipses using. Yep, solar cycles. Yeah, absolutely. Pretty hot, but it's tasty. Was a gift from a client. Okay. You know, I'll try everything, or not everything. I'll try almost everything once. And if it backfires on me, I'm gonna I'll say Big Pine made me do it. Yeah, his client made me doo doo on myself because of ghost pepper sauce, but it tasted good. So I'll tell her. Okay, I can tell you how to figure out how many depressurizations events there were so far. RG, there's a timekeeper in the sky. Okay, okay, now you got me intrigued, Jeeps. Oh, speaking of things in the sky, if you guys are okay with it, um, I'm gonna pull out. I don't know if y'all have looked at John's work yet, but uh, yeah, John has some very interesting things. Yeah, let me. Someone jumped up here on stage. Let's see who we got. Okay, that was my low battery thing. Never mind. Okay, I got a low battery. Let me. Damn. Uh, okay, I've got my phone in my bag. Good. Okay. By the way, guys, if you guys are wondering about my hands, it's because I'm a quadriplegic. Um, broke my neck. Maybe you can see some of it where they cut me open here, but they cut me open in the back as well. And yeah, so I may you may see some weird looking shit you never seen. You're like, man, why is Russell so mad? He's about to punch somebody. But it's just my hands. And I haven't shaved, you guys, man. I look scruffy, but you know what? I wear my goatee and beard well, I think. You know. All right, here we go. All right, we're gonna show you guys some things in the sky. Okay. I don't want to bore you with my semantics. Okay. And you guys just tell me what you think. What's your thoughts on some of this? Okay, here we go. This is going to show you something called vast. It's far above space and time, which we know there's no time. It's just movement. All right, here we go. Let me do this. Like somebody just came in. Let me see. Let me see. All right, Justin Johnson, what's up, buddy? Can you
What's
hear us?
up?
What's up?
I can
I
hear
can
you.
hear
Can
you.
you hear
Can you
me?
hear me?
Hey, brother. I'm here. I can hear you loud and clear.
All
All
right.
right.
Made
Turn off
made.
this. Yeah, I got to turn off this volume thing here. I just want to make sure because earlier I was echoing like crazy and
Yeah,
nobody
I
could
can
hear
hear
me.
my own voice.
Okay. All right.
It's
Let me do
weird.
this then. Yeah. Let me go over here. I'm going to have it on mute anyway. Bam. All right. So
Check
we were
mic.
just, yep.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah, sounds
Man,
better.
you wrote in right when I was about I don't know if you've heard much of what I've been talking about, but, so basically I think that the moon is a middle point of where light squeezes together, right? And the moon is the plasma ball, of course, and the detail that's on the Earth is in the moon, and the moon then projects it up onto the firmament, and that's why there's all these little circles with dots in the middle that look like stars. But it's all plasma and energy. That's just spitballing.
Yeah, your
Um,
guess is as good as anyone else's, man. I mean, it's all a mystery up there. But I did watch that
yeah.
video, the one that you were watching. I just walked in and saw that you were
Okay.
watching it, the gun or whatever his guy's name is, his
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yes,
pretty
sir.
good, man. I was pretty skeptical, me.
Yeah.
But I
It's
gave
all.
it,
Hey,
a chance, and I thought there was some pretty good stuff from it, though.
yeah. Yeah. I think so too, man. I think if you put right here, if you can see on the screen where it says Earth, if you put the moon right there, right, and you flip it over flat, okay, and this plasma belt is the toroidal, right, the firmament, toroidal energy going up around here and there, and as this whatever light this is, right, which is called the sun, as it goes through the plasma belt, right, and shines upon the Earth. Once we go about 100,000 feet up, 120,000 feet, and you look down, it's just like it's extremely bright. You know what I mean? Blue, and you get the white in there. But what if everything that's on this realm was being projected up onto this curved surface, which is the firmament, right? And then you would see right here a projection, or well, right about here where the A is, you would see the moon, which would be the middle point, okay, from shooting down here and up, and then onto the firmament here, you would have all the stars. Does that kind of make sense a little?
Yeah, I
Makes it
mean,
different.
it's definitely a theory to consider. It's a variable, right?
Mhm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
'Cause I'm a
And then,
big I do subscribe to the moon map and stuff. I think there's something there. I don't trust any map, to be honest, but that's one that
right,
can't be tampered with if that's what it is. It can't be something that was manipulated, really, like all the rest of the
yes,
maps.
exactly, exactly. And what doesn't change, what's consistent about it is, the placement of the details on it, for one, and then two, it seems as if the stars are pretty stable, over the years and don't really move. And so I'm thinking if there is any way, like possible, through God's help or whatever, if it's possible to reverse engineer this to where we can say the spots on the firmament called the stars are a reverse image of the earth itself, of the realm, and every different star, what could be like a pocket of different metals, different ways of the electromagnetism interacting with that. You know, um,
It's
something like
definitely
that.
an advanced thought process. It's new to me, you know, but I know exactly what you're
Mhm.
saying because I did watch that video and how he shows the Monty map and it's got all those little dots on it. Well, he
Mhm.
shows you how it's actually the stars, right? You know what I'm talking about? Did I lose you? Row. Where'd you go, man? You might be muted or something. I don't hear you at all or see you. Raj, RG ditched me, man. Patience is virtue. So, how's everybody else doing tonight? I'm a little bit late, but I made it. Hope you all are doing well on this Sunday evening. Anything eventful happened today? Any good shows on or anything? I know Vika made it back tonight. Not sure what he talked about. Done got booted off his own stream. uh, yeah, he'll figure it out. Captain JJ to the rescue. I got it, man. I got the wheel. I'm driving like it's hot. I'd imagine y'all can still hear me, right? It looks like y'all can. Jesus, take the wheel. Yep, you can definitely hear me. Jesus, take the wheel. Oh, I know what happened. His battery died. So he's probably trying to get his phone to work. I did catch that part. Yeah, technology can be a pain in the ass. You noticed a lot of people trying to start up their streams, but they don't go through. Lots of upcoming streams seem to be late. Interesting. Jay says he watched Vika's. It was only a short stream, mainly talking about events from last year. Gotcha. Yeah, get back into it. Just worked all day. Yeah, I hear you, man. I didn't go in till late, but kicked my ass. It's a little bit of hard labor. It's taxing, especially when you get old. But you know, you quit working, you quit moving, you die. You know, some people like older generations they work their whole lives. You know, like grandpas, and then you expect them to retire, but it's like I ain't stopping, man. I'm gonna die on the job. I'm not gonna go lay down and die in my bed. I'm gonna die on the job. Damn it. That's what happens when you don't, prepare for retirement, folks. You work to death. You want chicken? Chicken banana. Chicken banana. Yeah, sitting still's for the birds. And they don't sit still very long either. Come winter time, it's Audi 5,000. Yeah, just chicken. No banana. Oh man, poor banana. She's from a couple that can't really keep her anymore. She's got to acclimate her into a flock. Damn rooster don't make it easy. Yeah, them cocks, I tell you, they're a doozy. You got banana trees too, huh? That'd be cool. Bananas are awesome. Well. Tell me about it. The banana trees and the chickens? You feed your chickens bananas? It's a turnkey. Looks like RG's calling me. I'm going to answer this, see what he says. Pizza Hut, how may I help you? RG. Hello. Pizza. He's not answered either. I can't hear him either on the phone. RG. Technical difficulties. Had to fire 2 of the Pizza Hut employees. That's what getting out of line will get you. Misdialed. He probably butt dialed me, huh? Fingertip sauna. Hello, fingertip sauna. How may I help you? Well, you know. Rizub and Tizug. Good times, man. You know. So y'all already watched the video that he was showing? I imagine it's like 2 hours, I think. I don't know about that. You know, the what do you call it? The short ice season or whatever. The short ice age. I don't know where he's getting the information. How he's so could. You know, he's pretty sure of himself of exactly what date. You know, 1890 something. It's like, oh, well, must know something I don't, because I don't know exactly when the hell what happened. I have my opinions. Like 1776 sounds about right to me. Just throwing that out there. Yeah, this is awkward, man. You know, what is going on here, man? Talking about the new video, Captain Gun Guy. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's pretty interesting. You know, RG told me about it, and like I went and looked at the guy's channel, and it's like I get red flags real easy. I'm skeptical on everything because all the deception. You know, I don't trust nobody, and especially somebody that just comes out of the woodworks. Is like, have y'all ever heard of Captain Gun before? Like, how long has he been around? You know, I've never seen him, but that doesn't mean he's not legit. But my first reaction is just, you know, skepticism, right? But he definitely, you know, I don't know, anybody that wants to push, oh, we're gonna charge the, you know, the South without any care for the Antarctic Treaty. I don't know, that's kind of sus to me. But hey, some people have firm beliefs that they have God-given rights to go wherever the hell they want, regardless of your stupid treaty. Yeah, I'm leery as shit, man. But I think he did a good job on the Vibes of Cosmos thing, because he actually fixed Vibes of Cosmos. All right, here's RG. Let me see if he answers this time. Hello, housekeeping. What's going on, man?
Damn, dude, my laptop died.
Yeah, I got you. What do you got to do? You got to shut it down or what?
That's a rookie mistake. No, I got my dad on the way. He's gonna come by and grab it for me and plug it up. It's like the charger port is on the ground over there in the studio. So yeah, he's got to wait on him. He's like, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes down the road. I'm about to get into some pretty interesting stuff as well.
I'm holding her down here, man. You know, talking a bunch of shit about you while you're gone.
Yeah.
No, I mean, talking a bunch of good stuff. I mean.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, like, damn it. Oh, I'm fucked up now.
Man, you weren't supposed to spill the beans.
Yeah, did it stay on? Live?
Yeah, we're up there, man. I'm just, checking, waiting it out, seeing what's happening.
Okay, good. I thought it. Oh, dude, that's good. I thought I was about to start all over.
Yeah, you're still up
Okay,
there.
cool.
Well, I'm still up there.
Can you let them know? 'Cause I don't think I can. No, I don't know if I can join on my tablet. Plus, I don't. I wouldn't be able to anyway and hold it and
Right,
do everything. I have to do. That laptop's a lot easier to set my lap.
right.
Yeah, man. Dude, I appreciate you holding it down, man.
Yeah, you want me to continue to do so, or what's your plan? Lost him again, folks. Just when you're making progress, So what are you saying, Big Pine? We ought to just fucking do something, like just go for it, huh? That's crazy. I kind of agree to some degree, but I'm not much of a sailor, and I don't think I could hack it, man. Like out there in the ocean, I'll probably be puking the first 30 minutes out there. I ain't got my sea legs or nothing, man. But they're talking about going on a boat for weeks in order to do it, right? I think it'd be cool, a lot cooler if you had an airplane. uh, it takes money, equipment, and experience. Yeah, it does. It is dangerous, man. I got patience of a saint. I'd be like, where the fuck are you? Nah, it's all good, man. Just hold down the fort. We'll play it by ear. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah, it is. That's a hell of a thing to do to go to. I mean, like, what is your objective? Are you going to go prove what, like, that there's extra land? Like, is that guns? Uh, I don't know, motive, or was he going to? Because he claims that there's no ice wall, is what I got out of the video that he showed. Uh, which who knows, man? I ain't been there, so I don't know, and I definitely don't trust the source that told us there's an ice wall. So yeah, I mean, flip a coin. I have no idea. But what's his intentions? He's going to go prove that there's land and that the maps don't. He seems to me like he's heavily believing in the Monty map, which is interesting. I mean, there's definitely lands and stuff on that map that aren't on any other maps. Strangely, they all disappeared, man. And I don't know. Another thing about that video, he kind of talked about, during that little ice, whatever ice age. He keeps calling it little or something. So it must have been not as big as the one they lied about, because I don't really believe in it. I don't know. It might just be natural from our son leaving this place right here. But, he's, what was he saying? Lost my train of thought. Look, RG's trying to text me again here. Let's see what he says. Hey, bro, if you can give me about no more than 10 minutes, I'll be back on. You can pass that on. Pass it on, folks. 10 minutes. What the hell was I going to say? Because he was talking about how, like, lands broke apart and, like, got flooded or whatever. Like, it almost reminded me of Pangea, like, where all the land was one land and it broke apart. Because I don't really subscribe to that. I don't know if y'all do, but I could see some land getting flooded, but I don't think it's like, oh, California's breaking off and now it's out there. I don't know. I don't think so. I think some of it could be underwater or something. But what do y'all think about that Pangea shit? Like, I don't think these lands are just floating here. That's crazy, man. He claims he has charted unknown land and wants to go there. I will be watching the video to get better read on this guy. Yeah, the video does justice, because I went in and, like, skeptical as shit. Like, I just don't trust nobody, especially somebody I've never heard of. And all this, he's got one video on his channel, and he's got like 700 subs. It's like, what's up with that? How do you get all those subs, man? You ain't even got a channel. But regardless, I watched it, and I got some good takes from it, and then other things I just disagree with, like, once again, the Pangea shit, where, like, land's actually floating away from each other. I don't know about all that. It makes sense there would be a circular frozen ring around the realm. I agree with that. I think the dome, along with the electromagnetic confinement dome, is made of ice, made of pure water, Bible subscribed. Yeah, it could be like that primary water, right? Like that what's his name found. Who knows, right? Like just pure water that they're hiding. And it make you live longer, probably. It's like the fountain of youth kind of water. I think the water level rose and separated lands. Right. But the lands didn't actually move. They just got sunk. I'm with that. Like I could subscribe to that all day, but like lands actually moving, that's kind of what I thought he was saying. Like lands actually moved. Like I don't buy that shit. Yeah, the ocean is the remnant of the flood. Yeah. People are like, "Oh, there's no proof of the flood." What do you think the ocean is? The flood's still here, stupid. It didn't go away. That's how I feel too. It's like, but yeah, I think it does make sense for there to be an ice wall or something. But I mean, even if you subscribe to the moon map, our local sun only goes so far. Hence why all that shit's frozen over there. It would make sense. But I guess it doesn't have to exist, because we could still be contained without an ice wall because water is just going to seek the least path resistance and go make a container out of the lowest level, and it could puddle up there at the lowest, uh, altitude, basically. It'll make its own container, even without walls to some degree, right? So it doesn't have to be an ice wall, I guess. But that's the unfortunate thing about this damn life we lead. We don't know shit because apparently the people we have to trust don't know shit, or they know shit, but they're compulsive liars. So good luck with deciphering what the hell they tell you is true and what isn't, because I think they tell you all the truth, but then they tell you all the lies. And you got to figure that shit out. Like what part was true and what wasn't, right? And I can only think of one reason why they would tell us so much truth, and that's to justify that's your ignorance for being where you're at, because they told you the truth and, you didn't see it, then you're the dumbass. Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense to me why they would tell us so much truth, because it's like everywhere. Like there's nothing that the truth isn't somewhere. If you just look hard enough, you'll find it. And it's like mind blowing. It's like, why would they like narc on themselves? Like, Trump being the bad guy and then he's exposing the pedophiles and all this. Like, you're all a bunch of pedophiles, but they're just playing a game where it's like, why do they feel the need to tell us that they're all pedophiles? I don't know. If they run the courts, they run everything. They run all the 3-letter agencies, including the Department of Justice. It's like, why do they feel the need to expose themselves if they're all on the same team? Because I definitely think they're all on the same team. I think they're playing enemies. That's my conclusion. See, we know nothing regarding what's beyond. Absolutely. That's what makes it intriguing. 100%, man. Yeah, and even when they show us footage of it, like Captain whoever, or I don't know, Bird or whatever, it's like I think those are all Masons. Anybody that's a historian, that even the good guys, like I said, the Teslas, any one of them, they're all on the same team. They're just they have to justify by telling us the truth somehow. So they'll make a character that's going to be the good guy that I don't know. They eventually take him out one way or another, but do they really take him out, or is he just an actor in the script that they're writing? Because they write history, they write the script because they reset it, so they get to write it. They get to write all the new characters and pick who's gets to play who. It's very mind blowing, really, to be honest, to consider that's reality. That we're just living in an illusion of reality, to be honest, because it's all been, none of it's authentic or organic or not infiltrated or manipulated to structure their narrative. It's all propaganda and just brainwashing, indoctrination. RG should be coming in pretty soon. He said about 10 minutes. Appreciate y'all hanging tight in here, chilling like villains. The truth out there for sure, but it's told in guest for more part. Okay, in movies and mythology, etc. Exactly. They're always telling us somewhere, and I agree. Yeah, the movies, cartoons, just like that's where you find the truth. I don't know. It sure seems like they like to mock us with it. Truth is truth is told a lot of the times in joke form, right? Yeah, so you don't really take it to heart, right? You can just laugh it off if you choose to, or you can go down that rabbit hole, right? I was really skeptical of that fittest flat earther as well, but he's been blowing my mind, just talking about how these are actually fallen angels and how a lot of these actors are the same actors and they don't actually die. They live forever. They're immortal, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to conclude to that, but holy shit, man. It's mind blowing to even consider. He's a tard. Yeah, I thought the same thing, like some of the shit I just can't stand, like I don't know, the dragons and shit, but whatever. But some of it's like I can't just hand dismiss like some of these people looking too damn close to each other, or how not only they look like each other, but they sit there and tell you like in the movies, they're like they'll make references to being just like this person, and then that's the person that they actually are. Like I don't know, there's some shit that's just hard to hand dismiss. The evidence just is too overwhelming.
The only way I'll go down the rabbit hole, Justin, is if there's a carrot at the other end.
There's always
Follow the carrot.
a pot of gold. There's whatever you want down there, man. They got cities down there. They got tunnels.
Dude, man.
Artificial sunlight.
Yeah, dude. That let me tell you something that's funny. What you were just saying about I don't know the fittest flat earther. I don't know. I've just seen some of his stuff, but with how we all look alike, and we're similar in ways that he splits the face, and we're half and half or whatever. Bro, I think we might be clones. I think we might be clones. That's why everybody looks the fucking same at Disney. All the men and women look alike. Little kids and stuff. Well, I'm not a clone. I mean, you're obviously not a clone, but like you
you
can't clone that beard.
profiling, man.
But I
One
think
of a
there's
kind over
some
here.
simple right. Yes, sir. But yeah,
who
it's
knows
just
what
I
them
do
guys.
think there's similarities because of capabilities. All right, Dad. Thank you. Thank you very much. I love you. All right. Have a good night. Oh, will you flip that light when you go out? Yeah, there's something up with my camera, dude. When I came back in, I've tried to reset it and all that, and it won't allow me to come back up. I guess I broke it with my awesomely good looks. Yeah,
You got your computer plugged in, or did you get it charged a little?
yeah, I got it plugged in to the wall,
Gotcha.
so that way I'm safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to give you the little tour here one day of the studio back here. It's just my back room. It used to be a roommate room, and I just took everything out, and I got some new furniture for the living room, and then I put this little half couch back here, and then I got all the flags that Bird sent me, and then it's the black and white True Earth one. It looks like the UN map.
Uh-huh.
And then I got the question everything one that looks that you've seen in the back of damn it, Vlad's place. Yep.
Yeah, I got that one too.
Sweet, man.
Birdman he's something else, man. I haven't seen him in a little bit, but I need to get my ass back to streaming as well. It's been a month and a half, almost 2 months since I did a live.
Hey man, it took a lot just for me to get this one going. Just starting out simple and easy. Putting up my research papers, stuff like that. But when it comes to like in depth, showing pictures and video clips, I'm not the best, but this is why I'm trying to do some networking to where people bring some of their own ideas to the table. We just kind of I'm good at meshing things together. You know what I mean? when it
Right.
comes to technology and stuff nowadays. I think I'm not rare in that aspect, but I think that the only way to start, trying to come up with new ideas and spitballing is to do that.
I think
So
that
here
we're
I am.
about to hit. I think we're about to hit some times that are really like you think your mind's been blown in the past. I think shit's about to get really, really expedited. Like, I don't know. I believe in that we're in a little season, dude, and
Mhm.
I think that's part of the reason why they don't care to just go ahead and tell us all this shit now, right before they got to go meet the Almighty, right? They got to justify that they did no wrong, dude. So why not towards the end of the season? If they knew it was going to end, then I
Mhm.
think that they'd be more likely to try to scramble right at the last moment, to you make sure that they told us all the truth, all when it's way too late, I don't
Yeah.
know, but if a short season was 250 years, that would be this year, dude, from 1776. So,
Yeah,
y-
good point. Good point.
yeah, like 4th of July might be the end of times, is where I'm going with that. I don't know, man. I'm
Well,
ready.
they've
I'm
hinted
not scared.
around. Yeah, I mean, if you're prepared and you've got lost that
Oh
fear of
yeah.
death, and there's
Well,
so much more afterwards, then
yeah.
something to look
Well,
forward
that's
to.
the
Not to.
thing. They want you scared of death, and death. They lie about everything, including death. They understand that your body is just a vessel. It's not. It's not. It's not your soul, and that's the soul is infinite, in my opinion, because you can't create it from nothing. Therefore, it's always
Mhm.
been there. In my opinion, I just think that they got us to fear death. Not that you need to run to it, but it's just a part. It's just natural. It's just as natural as being born or day and night. And they got us in constant fear of it. But who knows, man? Who really knows? We don't know. In fact, we've
Well,
been misconstrued, misled.
yeah, and that somebody wise once told me, he said, and of course we've all heard this if you're a truther, but if something's happening over here, look the other way. If it's, if they say it's this way, flip it
Hmm.
upside, flip it right side up, I guess you could say. And
Yeah.
they're good at scrambling in that way that they've it completely 180'd us in that way. It's harder for us to try to get back to that other side, right? We have to try and piece things together, and it takes a long ass time to get even 90 degrees back to where things seem to fit or seem to feel right.
Mhm.
And for me, I guess I've had that fortune of being able to have as much time as I have. Even though I'm disabled, I've felt like I've used my time wisely to
Mhm.
where I'm at now. Now I can really start kind of putting my ideas out there just to see in the public how people feel about it. If I'm cut down, so be it. It won't hurt my feelings. I don't want people to maybe them miss out on something if somehow I can help in that way. I'd rather them not miss out. I guess you could say.
Right. I like
Yeah, man.
Maria. Maria says they don't. They know they don't get another chance. Their judgment is sealed. Well, you and I believe that. Like we know that. Like there's no justifying for what these people have done. They will be held accountable at the end. But that doesn't mean these people think they're smarter than God. They think they outplayed God. They think they are better than gods. They convinced us to worship these people like movie stars and sports athletes, and these are all fallen angels, and that they're evil. And I think that they're so misconstrued in their brain. They think they're actually smarter. They think they outsmarted them to where I do think that they're gonna try to justify it. I'm not saying that it's gonna work by any means, but why else would they tell us all this truth? Why would they? Is that just to convince us that it's like organic? Like, oh, if they were all in on it, then they wouldn't be telling us this, right? Is that why they're doing it?
Hmm.
Because that could be
You
plausible
know,
as well, right? I'm just trying to figure it out,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. It's a good question, and
Because
and
they
and
tell
if
us they
if
tell us the truth all the time, dude.
mhm.
You know?
Yeah, and if there is a set time linked until something is reset, and they've got that timeline down pat, and it's getting to the last couple of minutes before midnight, then they could probably give a shit less, right? They could probably not even care that we figure these things out, because if
It's
something
gonna
major
make no
does happen,
difference.
then they're just going to crawl right back out of their holes, and restart. And when I say that, I mean that literally. Like, even in the Western Native American beliefs, that every so often there's a reset to where, and I'm not saying these are aliens, trust me, guys, but there's some kind of people that come up and give them all this warning so that they can then, go underground. And there's so
Yeah,
many cave systems, and uh, which I just think are the insides of huge structures that were once, on the
right.
surface.
Right. And
I
they're
think.
good with their word sorcery. They like to redefine words, and they wrote the definitions to the words we use to begin with. We're at their mercy when it comes to being the mockery. They've
Mhm.
always made a mockery out of us with what they've done, and we're so ignorant to it that we walk around mocking ourselves like we don't, we just don't know any better. But
Right.
it's mind blowing, man. But
Yes,
who
sir.
who knows?
I wanted to just kind of run through this just real quick and see what you guys' thoughts are. But so this guy John Leonard Walson, I think this is just one of his videos. I can't find his name right here, but
I
I'll
was
show
gonna
it in a
say
second.
something real quick. You know how
Mhm.
you're talking about aliens and you keep trying to justify. You're not talking. Not. You have to keep like, I don't know, protecting yourself from people thinking you're crazy by even saying the word alien. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
what I was gonna say is just like how they like to use the sorcery. Like obviously aliens could just be from out of our world, our known world. It could be out of our space over there in the extra land, Terra,
Mhm.
extraterrestrial, just like Weiss tells us, right?
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense that, because you're not coming from anywhere else but here, because
Or
you have
underlands.
we're confirmed,
Mhm.
we have a dome,
Mhm.
yeah, but you know, what if aliens could just be, fallen angels or demons? So they come as falling stars, right? That's what fallen angels are. Those are the evil ones, right?
Mhm.
Like even the devil himself was known as the morning star, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. They like to mock us, man, and like
Uh,
the fittest flat Earth, he was talking about how they call them stars. Like when you go look at the stars, like how they put them in the
oh yeah,
concrete.
the Star. Yeah,
Yeah,
Boulevard or Star.
and it's like it's just mind blowing because how relative it is to they're fallen angels. They're stars. You know what I mean? The stars
Hmm.
might be angels. I don't know, man. I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, sorry about that. I just wanted to get that off my chest.
What and those that they talk about at one point were in the flesh, right? Fallen angels, and it could be a possibility where, now they're only able to cross over and embody people like vessels, like empty vessels. How kind of what's his name was hitting around to it. Um, Bob Lazar was handing
Mm.
around to some text that he uh, had access to, and he was very cautious about saying, because the guy that interviewed him was like, "So tell us about that. What was it?" And he was like, "Well, I'm not sure about that. I don't know if I should."
You
It
ever
came
see
it
that?
came down to the point where he said, that in the CIA text about, old the Cave of Treasures type of um, where Adam and Eve, you know, um, had to be put out into the outer lands once they were booted out of Eden, and they were put into places where there were already people there. Um, and anyway, the CIA supposedly has knowledge of this and the reset cycles. And Bob Lazar was like, "Well, yeah, I don't, we're viewed as vessels." He was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, they use us as or view us as vessels to be used." So that kind of clicked with me a little bit, with maybe disembodied souls use
You
clone
ever watch the
technology,
movie
something like.
K-Pax with Kevin Spacey? K-Pax?
Yeah, yeah. That was before I knew he was a pedo. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, me too. Oh, Pro. He's from the planet
yeah.
K-Pax.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm wondering if I'm on the right kind of thought process to where we have technology that is similar to, if we just scaled it up, that what we're seeing, that point source light in the sky. which just for you guys that out there think that because we can zoom in and look at these things that it's not a fairly small thing. It's actually a little bitty dot in the sky when it's just coming up on the horizon. But my point in saying that is if we are able to project this energy up through a cross point and it forms a sphere because of the shape of our eye for one, and then also if the sky is arched, that would give it even that much more of the ability to look very spread out, like you know what I mean, from horizon to horizon, may not even be that far, if that makes sense. And these point source lights that are going up may just be more dense areas that vibrate and look like wiggling stars up there. But it could be just an inversion of as above, so below kind of thing. Um, just my
Right.
thoughts.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
possible.
And just talking about the moon, just real quick, check this out. So on the screen, I don't know if y'all can see my mouse there moving. You able to see that? I'm circling this little thing.
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay, cool. So the arrow's pointing there. Do you guys just one guess where this is? Like what we're looking at here? If you don't, I don't expect you to know, but if you don't, you can just see all this detail. It looks like ravines, over here just looks like a whatever, and then you got this big thing. Well, this big thing, this whole area here in the middle is the center of a crater, what we call craters on the moon. And the guy that's looking at this, he built his own stuff. So what we're looking at is a full spectrum picture. It's not just in our narrow band, right? And I just wanted to show y'all this because this is a very odd shaped deal here. And he did a few different shots on different nights. One night this was here, and one night it wasn't. So we're gonna skip around just a little bit, but I'm gonna run through this real quick. But his name's John Leonard Walson, and the whole theme about tonight is what's up there. What are we looking at, right? And how close can we get to look at these things? So, yep, let's move on with this one. I'm gonna keep the volume off just because I don't want to, no copyrights or nothing. All right, so, well, that one's real fuzzy, but you see the 90-degree angle, whatever this is over here on the top left. There's some more right here. Now, this is the instrument he uses. Hope I paused that. Yep, I did pause it. And one of the very uncommon things that we see are these little, you see in the middle, these little dots in the middle, whatever they
Yeah,
are.
proving that
And
it's not no crater. The craters wouldn't have those.
right,
You know,
it wouldn't be just some explosion. It's some type of,
I
it
like
seems like electrical process.
Ewarnon when he was talking about how it's actually a superimposed two separate images at two different times. One being the
Uh,
projection of the land masses like an X-ray, and then the other one was a picture of the firmament. And now that I watched the new Gun episode, the stars are in the firmament. Like when he showed that, like how you see like the belly button of the on the moon.
on
You know what I'm
there.
talking about? How it
Oh
shows
yeah,
you
yeah,
like
the navel. Yeah.
right the navel. So it's like at a different angle, right? So they're on top of each other, two different pictures. But it just blows my mind
Yeah.
because like now I'm thinking that now I see the stars in it because before I never
Mhm.
thought about that. But when he
Yeah, if
showed
you
it
just
on
look at
his
all
video,
these little bitty dots here on the top left picture, even right here, just all these dots, and
right?
it just don't make any sense. Like if something, and yeah, and it like an overlay, the overlay picture, and the navel actually, it looks offset, but I think it's just because of um the angle, right? That how do I say it? The angle of like if we do have an arched ceiling, then you would expect everything to be a little off, center, just because of if it was flat, maybe that navel would be in the very center of the moon. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But also, so this thing he built here, this is just a basic model, but he's added so many things, and I want to get his permission to play his voice on here because he talks about how to go in these different technologies and take out these sensors, take out
I
the
think you're
computers.
fine playing his voice as long as you commentate over it. It's all fair use.
Okay, right on, right on.
Yeah, yeah.
Now to the far right, this isn't like the ISS like we would think, but he sees stuff like this up there that it's either light coming off of it because it's producing its own light, or it's like I say, something reflecting the light below. But dude, I thought this was all bullshit when I started watching it, but I'm gonna play a little bit more of it. And you guys be the
Okay.
judge of that. But yeah, let me maybe he'll explain a little bit here. If that's cool. I'll moderate over it and pause it for now. So here, this is another angle. Now the camera I showed you, so he can not only just zoom in, but he can rotate it 360, right? And then he can angle the angle of incidence as well to get the light to shine off of objects. And I'm just going to call them objects because I have no fucking clue. But there was a process in the 80s called Project Star Wars, and that was to put a weapon system in low Earth orbit. I don't know whatever happened to it in the ending, but this isn't just all you see. You'll see in a minute. It's interesting. Let's put it that way. All right. Hey, this is the one he built with all these additives onto it. So that gives you a full spectrum kind of view, if you will. All right. And this right here, this is your microwave beam. So you can't see it. You can only see it in thermal, right? Thermal imaging. Now this is what we would usually see if we zoomed in. You know how they say, oh, the ISS is going to go overhead at X time. Zoom in and look. So this is kind of his earlier version telescope, and this is the best he could get at the time. But could it be possible that this thing is just being projected up there and through the Operation Moonblink? I don't know if y'all seen my video on that, but Operation Moonblink was 11 stations upgraded. They added on technology onto the existing telescopes, and then they have something called the ISS stations, like ground stations.
Yeah, I
So
would
is the
buy that it's a projection way
Mm,
more than that it's some hunk of steel floating in low orbit. 'Cause I don't believe that anything's gonna have zero gravity and float. All this bullshit. Like
uh,
that's nonsense to me. Like what goes up comes down. Helium can
mhm,
go up, but it's more likely a projection. Like it just
right.
makes a lot more sense. And they tell us it's so far away, but yet it doesn't make sense with the inverse square law of light. You couldn't see a jet airliner at that distance, but you can see the
Right.
ISS from 3 times farther. It's
Mhm.
stupid. So
I
we
think
know they're lying.
one idea we should toss around is if they have um, this advanced technology that can, fly pretty fast, add that SR-71, but they have some pretty upgraded stuff now. And I'm thinking if as fast as it goes across the sky, if some kind of material on the bottom of these jets are projected onto that, right? And then as soon as it, may go down past the horizon where, someone downrange can now see it coming up, then it would make sense it's just transferred across these things. But it's just my thought. And one more thing I want y'all to look at this right here. Every single one of these objects project out this kind of triangular. They're all pointed. There's none of them that are like squared.
Hmm.
So that's one thing that I've noticed studying his
Y-
work.
one thing that Warren said about it, he said it could be like a blistering effect of like basically when it was produced through the radiation, it like blistered. You know, I don't know. I'd have to rewatch what he said, but it was something along the lines of that because he's saying it's
Yeah,
a
and I think
superimposed image that it's just a reflection, right,
mhm,
of two images on top of each other. One being the firmament and the stars, and one being the Earth's. You know, a map of the
planet.
Earth,
Yeah.
basically. But
Mhm.
I know, like recently, Flat Bob put out a video. You know, he don't buy the moon map shit. You know, which is fine. It's to each his own. But you know, one of his main reasons why he was saying it wasn't because we know that the Pacific Ocean is larger than basically it was showing on the moon. But you know, really, we can't trust none of the maps that are made by man down here. So how do you even
Yeah.
know how big the Pacific is? To be honest, they don't even fly over it. They always fly around it. You know, like they go to Alaska
Yeah.
to go to Japan. They never fly straight across the Pacific. So you don't even know
Yeah.
how big that is. And I think there's too much precision. Like when you really look at that moon map and look at how much, I mean, it's just, I mean, come on. It can't be coincidental. You know, it's just mathematically impossible. It's like the moon and the sun looking the same size, but one
Mhm,
is 400 times larger, 400 times farther. That's just
mhm.
like, yeah, right. I don't
Yeah,
think
you
so.
got to wrap your mind around that one. Trust me. Yeah, it's pretty.
There's a point where it becomes mathematically impossible. It's just
Yeah,
not a chance.
I agree.
Not a chance. But
Yes, sir.
who
All right,
knows?
check it out. So that one up here on the right, top right, that one there, got a little triangle shape. Anyway, all right, here we go. I don't believe everything this video says, so let's make that clear. All right.
Yeah. It's strange too how the moon could look so physical, but we know it's not. You know, like it's plasma, and you can see through it. You see stars through it, but yet it looks so physical when you get good shots
Yeah.
of it. Right? You see these what appear to look like craters and actual
Hmm.
elevation changes. But
So this one here looks almost the opposite, almost like a bubbled, like a covered dome. Instead of this one here looks indented.
uh-huh.
So yeah, just different. And take it like this. If it is something that's being reflected from the earth up, then as you'll see in some of these videos, it's like there's way too many squares, and we know nature doesn't form squares, right? Like 90-degree angles, or on
Right.
on a big scale anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Right. Or straight lines. Right.
Right,
Nature
right,
doesn't really make straight lines either, except the horizon. The
right.
flatness of your vanishing point's pretty damn straight.
Hmm.
Right. Right.
Here's 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 a here's a couple more of those uh, items. Now he's got uh, a better camera now, but this is kind of some of his early images. I just wanted to see what you guys thought. Oops, that's not the button, RG.
It's a total mystery scoop.
Yeah, buddy. I love it. I love it. I love the mysteries.
The hell is this right here? What are we watching? Is that the
So this one,
ISS?
no, no, this one on the top left. So his claims, right, are that this would be what was covered up with the Star Wars program. So kind of a weaponry system to defend against, we fake nukes. Um, but yeah, I just can't quite figure out. I know these are different spectrums. It shows different details, but I can't quite wrap my head around what's in the background because you can almost see like a grayish outline on all these. This one down the bottom right, but they all have this long, uh, whatever it is. There, that's what they got in common. Yep. There you go.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know. This is just like something they splattered on the wall, or what? But it seems to have some kind of features there, little nostril looking things. But what
Yeah.
seems authentic to me is all this other feedback that he's getting, right? The etheric feedback. So that kind of tells me it's part of the picture, whatever it is. Any thoughts on that?
Looks like an alien.
Needs to
It's
pick
the
his nose.
grays.
Got some-
It's the grays, man. I thought it was interesting too on that video. Another good take. It kind of tripped me out. They was talking about Indians, right? And those are actually the true Tartarians. Because I was
Yeah,
always
yeah,
wondering, because like I don't know, just another variable, plausibility. So I thought
yeah.
that was interesting.
I think the kickoff for him to think that was, all the things that he found out was quote unquote the little ice age, period. And you know how we always looked at like different maps of like the west coast of America, and it
Hmm.
looked as if California was just, stuck out there and it was an island.
Right.
So come to find out, the left side of that, the only part that didn't sink, it seems, is the only part that didn't sink was the northern part, and that's what we see as Alaska now.
Huh.
And when they were like, oh, 50,000 years ago, the land bridge from
Right.
Russia to, I think it was there just not that long ago.
Yeah,
I
who
think there's
knows, right?
something to that. And
Yeah.
then I got excited because they said, well, the North American Indians were the Tartarians. I'm like, hold on, on the East Coast, my grandmother and grandfather were Cherokee, so am I a fucking
Right.
Tartarian? That'd be pretty
Right.
cool.
Well, it kind of makes sense in the fact also, like, because you look at like how Indians get treated different than any other race in this on the plane, right? They get their
Hmm.
own police, their own jail, their own reserve, whatever reservations.
Hmm.
They get to do what they want. Like they have this amnesty. They get immunity to taxes, all kinds of shit, right? And it's like they tell us because we took their land, which I don't buy the whole cowboy Indian bullshit, dude. We know damn well that we're way more advanced, and they just made it look like we weren't, right? You can't have these cathedrals and castles,
Hmm.
and then now we're in Indians and cowboys stage again,
Right.
without a
Yeah.
complete dumbing down and loss of technology. How do you have that contrast? It's impossible, right? So I
Yeah.
don't buy into the whole narrative of our history, and obviously none of us do here with Christopher
Right.
Columbus, and America is probably just as much the old world as anywhere else, as far as I'm concerned. They have the
Uh-huh.
same structures, and things are found all over the world that they don't tell you about in school, like pyramids being all over the place, like not just
Yeah.
the main pyramids that you were taught. But
Yeah.
it makes me
And
think like, why do these Indians, why are they treating them special today, right? And
uh-huh.
maybe it was a deal that they made because they were the original Tartarians that are going to keep their mouth shut about the reset. Who knows, right?
Hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
another
And
thing that I consider now.
something that sparks my thoughts about, Mount Meru and stuff like that. Um, and this is I'm just spitballing, man, because I don't get to do this much
Yeah.
on my channel. But so Mount Meru, right? Okay. So they talk about um that in the Bible it talks about the earth takes like clay under the seal, and every
Mhm.
single one of these little divots that I'm seeing, if it does reflect from here up there, that you know it kind of looks like in the center there's Mount Meru. There's this little pointy thing, even
Mhm.
up top here, that sticks up. And
Right.
I don't know, dude. Like, it
Well,
almost
you
seems
seen
that
that?
if it is a reflection that, and it comes to this point called the moon, and then spreads back out, like, and we can see,
I
these
can't.
little dots. I don't know.
Right. I can't remember that map what the name of the map was, but it shows like a shit ton of Earths. Like there's like just little puddles everywhere. You know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
map
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking about?
yeah.
Um,
I do.
and then they got names
Nos
for them.
Nos
Like they're
Confundas. Oh,
right. Well, that kind of like some people believe that the moon is that like each one of those craters is a known world, basically. And like that
uh-huh.
kind of fits with what you're saying because if that's Maru, that's their magnetic, so they have their local sun in that known world. You have to have that magnetic pole in the middle in order to have the
Mhm.
circuit of the sun and moon, right? So
Yeah,
it kind of
yeah.
aligns with that.
I would say that exactly what you just said, except if there were separate puddles and there's one sun, that each clay under the seal with Mount Meru would only be able to see so far with their eyes, right? So if there's only one sun but several different worlds, I mean, it would still kind of fit, it would make sense.
Mhm.
Um, but it
Yeah,
wouldn't.
it's
We just maybe if we were in another puddle and we looked over, maybe the sun would always just stay lower on some horizon. I don't know, maybe something like that.
you probably wouldn't see it because like as far as our known world, it doesn't. It only migrates between the
Topic.
tropics, right? And it doesn't go past the
Mhm.
Cancer or Capricorn, either or. And it's like you can't see, but so far, so you're not going to be in another pond, air quotes, and see the
Yeah.
sun from over here. It's just too far, right? Just no different than it being on the other side of the plane. It's just going to be too far, right?
All
But
right. I'm
who
I'm
knows
gonna
if
pull up what
these
you're talking about there.
who
I'm
knows
gonna
if
show
these
you.
other like all the
Mhm.
planets aren't the other pawn suns, right? Plausibly. That's just
Yeah.
throwing, shit in the wind.
Let me show you this
No,
right here. What
not
we,
too
what
factual
Vlad was
about it.
kind of right, and what
But
Vlad
they're,
was talking about, what I was mentioning to him. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
they're obviously all on a circuit because when you look at the patterns, the geometric patterns that the wandering stars make, the planets, right? AKA,
Mhm.
they still make that, it's all about frequency and resonance, obviously, because they make the flower of life or whatever. They all have some very intricate pattern, of
Mhm.
how they circle Polaris. Each planet having they call it wandering stars because they don't make the same centrifugal circles as all the rest of the constellational stars around Polaris. They have their
Right.
own unique pattern. But I don't know, I'm just
Oh,
throwing
oh,
that out there.
yeah, I got something for that just because I was gonna throw it in here at the ending. See, just in this map here, the Bonamonte, how Cancer, Equator, and here seem to be about relatively spaced the same, right? And then when you get way out here and you got this tropic, or what I would call a tropic, may just be, because these lands here, or this would be Antarctic or Australia, where Capricorn still goes through it. But after the ice age and the seas rose here, the little ice age, like it just made, about this size, uh, Australia. The rest of this would be underwater. So think about like back in their day in 15 something, before the little ice age started, if someone lived here way out past where we would know as Capricorn, well, I wonder if this may have been just another line from some other body outside of that, like way down here in another part of the realm. I just thoughts I had. All right, let's get back up here. Oh yeah, I want to show you that since you brought it up. Did you get to see this yet? What I showed this here, this being the meeting point of where, say, we're down here on a flat plane, and all of our energy is shining up through this, and then up here would be the firmament where all the stars are showing on from the moon through the moon. You know what I mean? And that would just be our first firmament, because you know in the Bible it does talk about in parts there's 7
7.
firmaments.
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine this is our realm down here, like way where my mouse is going, way flat over here, and this is us, like our known realm in the center, and then out here, right from say where it says the moon to over here would be the outskirts of um Mercury's orbit, right? But what it's reflecting, while we see a little circle called Mercury or Venus or whatever over here, Mars, the only reason we see that is exactly the same way we see the stars. They look circular, and so does Venus and Mars. But the reason why I'm thinking is because whatever they are projecting up here, as far as their light and their energy, so it forms as just a little circle as and the firmament. Now, if that was true, then the firmaments would have to be in motion, like a toroidal thing that goes in circles, right? And then on out here where it says geologic, right? So here's our realm, the width of this black thing, and there's Mercury here and Mercury here, so it'd be outer circles, and then Venus here, and what you would in the land of Venus would shine up here onto Venus's the third firmament. So I'm saying it shines through onto the third one, and that's why we see little circles. It's just a thought, um, but this right here would be the main projector, and when I say projector, I mean like this. Watch this. You're gonna love this, bro. It's a 10-minute video. I'm gonna let it play through, and I'll slow it down just a little because the information comes kind of quick. I'm gonna pause it there. So here, projecting up is Polaris or Earth. Now just watch this. This is really cool. All right, I'm gonna play this out loud. Just ask me to stop whenever. I'm gonna play it back just at 7.5. Okay. Okay. Ask me why it's upside down. So 0 would be the equator. Okay. Western Polaris, Eastern Polaris. Now, what it's going to do is go from one side to the other, being east to west. Okay. Up here, east, traveling toward America here, west. And here is the sine wave frequency that it goes up. The highest point would be what? Tropic of Cancer. Down here, Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Cancer, or the opposite. I'm sorry. So the highest would be up here, Cancer. Okay. Now the size of each circuit depends on how big or flat the light wave is. Meaning, if it was just little bitty tight on this equator line, would
But it
be
takes a year to go through the tropics or the right to
yes,
go all the way from right. That's all 4 seasons.
from this point to this point. So and then think in the very middle. Well, I'll show you in a minute. I don't want to over confuse you, but check this out. This is very interesting. Now, this is just keeping in mind that the moon could be the point of where all of our energy focuses. And as it travels around, that just means our toroidal field is going round and round. Okay. All right, here we go. See where it meets up there in the middle? Now, these little lines here, the waves, would just be a star ring, a ring of the stars. So going from the middle point where Polaris says outward, both directions, equidistant, That means the smaller, closer to Polaris it is, then the tighter the circle. The furthest out of the circuit would be wide waves like this. Okay, now moving on. Oh, there we go. So there's one circle, one circuit, one turn, all the same speed, except the ones in the middle are going slower. The ones on the outside are going faster, just like we predict the sun does in the south, just to catch up and make perfect seasons.
The analema,
Yeah,
basically.
make an analytic.
Yeah.
Be big waves and fat waves. And the interesting thing they're about to tell you. So therefore, all circuits cover the same distance. So 40,000 kilometers is what, like 25,000 miles, something like that. So basically what it's saying here, this little circle here has as many stars as from here to here. And this circle travels the same as this circle, except this circle is very tight and small to the equator here, celestial equator. And this one's just, that much bigger. Try to imagine this line here cutting it right in half. Okay, and this right here would be the shape of the dome. It's just it gets smaller and higher. The higher you go, the smaller the dome gets.
It's
So you
funny
get to
because
the
40,000 kilometers is 24,854 miles,
that was close.
which
Yeah,
is
that's
almost
amazing.
exactly what the alleged equator is, right? 24,901 versus 24,854.
Yeah, so that what that tells me is if you were to how do I say it? Oh yeah, if you were on the equator, let's say the equator's right here, celestial equator, this way and then also this way. Now, once you get to the very center and you're on the ground down here, if you took a 90-degree zenith measurement up to here, then you would be a 1-for-1 ratio. And most people don't think that, but I wholly believe that God made everything as above, so below to match. All right, let's carry on. Maybe I slowed it down too much. Is that too slow for y'all?
It's fine.
So each band, yep, okay, cool. You'll see in a minute how it all ties together with the moon, and how the moon, if it is a circle, like it's a circle down here, then it would all make sense that as you got from the center of the moon going up either way, either direction, it would be equidistant. So I'm gonna grab my orange juice right quick. I'm gonna mute up so I don't make so much noise. Give me 1 second here. I will be right back. If I can figure out how to mute myself. There we go.
2 and 2, Chuck Woolery style.
Yes,
2
sir.
minutes, 2 seconds. Vlad didn't stop in tonight, huh? He did earlier, it looks like. I don't think he was on the panel, just in the chat, huh? Look, old Saab is on too. Looks like Andrew B and Snowman, my favorites.
Not a fucking CIA agent. Not a fucking agent. I swear I'm not an agent.
Yeah, we've had a couple heavy conversations at Rogers. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a straight shooter, man. I'll tell you how it is.
You have to be, brother. Hey, and let
Yeah.
me just point this out. I think I went way too far. Let me just point this out. So right here, when it talks about the southern and northern foundations, you know, the old saying goes, you know, square in the circle. So
Uh-huh.
coming from east to west, you know, in Enoch, it's flipped upside down, right? And so the way they show us the, you know, flat square maps is that the south is in the bottom down here and north is up top, vice versa with east and west, right? So in Enoch, this guy took the lessons from that and flipped it up on its head to show you, you know, what you know could be possible if there is a flat ceiling and a round moving objects to distribute the stars. So this is kind of where the idea come from for me. But if you guys, and we'll just recap. So right through here, right, would be the highest concentration of stars. And then as you go out, you know, either way, it would end up like this distributed to where the outer circles spin faster, but there's
less of them.
more. No, here we go. Up this way. I'm sorry. Yeah. So in the middle would be one. I get it mixed up, but I don't want to confuse y'all because I got confused the first time I watched this. So
Yeah,
it just basically it's
deep.
telling about the upper solidity. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it is deep. It is deep. I'm gonna leave my sound on because when you ask me questions, I can't. But it might be a little noisy. I got to get over here. All right, here we go. We'll make it big. That way I don't have to guess. You know. Okay, come on, share. Don't fail me now.
Did Vlad come in tonight or not? He just hopped in chat.
Yeah, he hopped in for a few minutes on the panel.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he hopped in. I think he had a couple things to do. I'm not 100% sure. It was a surprise though. He dropped in on me like that. I was like, hold on, man. What? I
When
was
he
like,
came and
I had
visited
to
you?
second guess. Yeah, I had to second guess. I'm like, hold on, how did you know where I
Are you
lived again?
serious?
And I forgot I gave him, you know, for when he went to the World's Fair over in Japan, sent him my address. Yeah. I don't know. He might be keeping tabs on me, bro. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, I question it.
Hey, we're
Question
all,
everybody, man. Trust no one.
yes.
Question everything.
Yeah.
No one gets amnesty.
Yes, sir. All right. So here we go. So at 90 degrees north, right here in the middle, it only contains 1 or 2 stars, including Polaris. So that kind of gives a little bit of background info about, you know, how the distribution goes from as it travels east to west, how it looks in other bands at different latitudes. Oh man, nothing like some Simply orange juice. Okay.
A bit of vitamin, energy for the glacier.
Yeah, man, try to keep my immune system up.
Oh, Bear
Okay, so
Grylls,
this is
dude.
where it gets interesting right here. The disco ball in heaven. Let's have a party. Right? DJ New Moon in the house.
Get down
I
on it.
want to get DJ Moon to make me a video for my little documentary I'm doing. All right, cool. So Y'all guys caught that part, right? The projection. So once it hits the what I call the metasurface of our realm, it only this is where the most dense part is, right? Of our toroidal system is where we live, the most solidity.
Does this explain
And
why you don't see the stars when you get higher altitude? Is that why? Because it
yeah, I
says the
think
stars
this is
they become
hinting.
visible
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as
So
projections.
I would think the higher you got and the more level you were with things, you wouldn't see it below you because it's not being projected onto something,
Right.
right? It's then lost. All right.
That's a
So
trip,
here we
bro.
go. Yeah, it is. But I mean, it makes sense. It's complex, but it makes sense. Mhm. So they think it's the sun that might be doing this. I think it's the opposite, but you know, or stay on. Or two has one light source with the same dimensions as the sun and moon. Okay. That's something I missed, and not. All right, here we go. So the just to show you real quick, I'm gonna leave this up, but I want to show you where the ideas cross for me, where I started merging things. Okay. So if this was the moon, let's say, and from down here, when we look up, we're seeing kind of well, it's higher. This is a smaller version, but say it was way up here. The only thing we'd be able to see would be one side, like we do. Instead of it turning, right? It's the light that's hitting this that's projecting it onto what they call a flat ceiling, and the distribution here. So the further over on this side, or pole, North Pole, South Pole, you would see, if you're further away, right, you would only get to see from that angle. And if you're right here, you would see straight on. So that explains, as this goes around our realm, everyone only sees one side, but it turns like a wagon wheel, right, as it goes, which kind of explains to me again how a toroidal interference would be like the constructive and destructive interference on when they talk about the double slit experiment, right? Uh, anyway, I'm getting deep. I don't want to get too deep. Okay. All right. Here's what I want to bring back up, just this one more time. So imagine it's not it turning, but it's us moving across the realm that changes the perspective, right? So things will be shooting up this way, things will be shooting up this way, depending on where you were down here. So hopefully that helps with the visualization a little bit. All right, let's get back to it. We got a couple more minutes here. Get some more of my vitamin D, vitamin C in me. Oh, come here, go.
Is that claiming that the moon is spherical?
No, it's just perspective
You're cutting out there, brother.
from like in America, and you're over in France, and as it comes, it's gonna, or the more you go north or south, it's going to give you that different dimension. But you're only going to see it, and the reason it's only a circle, JJ, is because what's being the shape of our this says it's flat. I say it's an arch, and that's why that from down here, any angle on that arch is going to be the same dimensions, right? So it don't matter if you're left, right, up, down. It's always going to be a concave looking shape, concave like mirror kind of thing, parabolic mirror. So this is why it spreads out as it goes down toward the ground, and that's why it spreads outward as it goes. The projection goes upward. Um, is basically just the shape of the eye and the ceiling, in my view.
Y'all seeing eye.
Eh, I don't know. I mean, if it's made of plasma or a liquid crystalline kind of structure, then kind of, yeah, it would operate like our eye works. So this would be our known universe. All these little potholes in the moon. And then if and this would say all the light is coming from the center outward. So if it was its own light source, that would make sense how the things would come out. But then the curve, they say it's because of the sphere. I say it's because of the arch of the ceiling, is why it would go up, hit the ceiling, come down. And we would see the star depending on where we are. Like, let me pause it here. Like if I'm directly under it, I would see the star here onto the firmament. But if I'm way over here, and north or south, I would see the star at like this
Right.
angle
That's
where it
when
ran
the
into each other.
azimuthal dome of observation comes in. Right.
Exactly.
Because everyone has their own dome of observation, depending
Their
on the
personal
observer's
experience.
location.
hmm So I mean, a lot of people want to say it's only that. I say it's a combination of that. So this would be Polaris in here if we were
Definitely
directly under it.
interesting. Definitely a different take
Mm-hmm.
that I've never entertained.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Pretty neat, I would say. And then it with the distribution of the amount and how things would spin to keep lined up with everything else. See, look from this angle, dude, that would be really cool to be above this, looking down. Maybe on the waters, we would see stars reflecting on the waters. Maybe, who knows? Because we see the sun and moon reflect on the waters. Why not? I mean, we do, when the water's still like in a lake or a pond, like we absolutely see all the stars. Um, so this is a fair assessment, I would say. Yeah.
It's a trip, man.
Yeah, imagine if there were four corners of the earth like that. We were all fooled.
Yeah, I noticed
Because
that Captain Gunn guy, he didn't mention that. Like, he was kind of half and half talking about basically like the E Warrenon, right? Like you go with the moon map and how we progress into the age of Aquarius and blah, 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 take our local sun with it. But I kind of think of it as like the four corners, like there's four different sections,
yeah, some people take the circle, AE map, and then draw a cross in it, and that's where all the symbology comes from. Is that where you meet in the middle? That those
Exactly.
in
That's the true
Hyperborea
north.
are the corners. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I'm thinking if it is only that, that's a good plausible thing. And if it's like the Prague map and it's bigger, and on four corners like this, then true north would be a little more toward the center of the big circle, um, and that would be if you went to Hyperborea, but then you kept going through the Indian Ocean, that you would end up there. But some people say it's hard that if that is the case, that you could never get to true north because as soon as you passed Hyperborea, it would want to turn you around to come back
Oh,
toward
yeah.
that
Good luck. You
magnetic
have to
spot.
accidentally find it, really.
hmm Yeah.
Because the farther
Yeah.
you get away from our north, the magnet, or it's not going to do any good. Like compasses won't do any good,
hmm
But at some
I
point,
forgot to tell you.
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say I forgot to tell you bringing that up. So I found this guy that he made it's an RF compass, radio frequencies, right? That when you hold it up, it's got like a bunch of little points on it. It's clear and it's polarized film. So when you hold it up, you see what bees would see. You would see these darkened lines going through the sky like arches.
Weird.
And I'll show it to you in a minute. Yeah, but that would be a cool way. Just follow the sun to find true north and something,
Right.
kind
The
of like
problem
that.
with us is like it's all about Mount Meru. So compasses only work because of our magnetic north, and south is in so many different directions. You can't just go south and know where you're going because south is in any direction away from north. You know what I mean?
hmm
So
Yeah.
navigation becomes good luck. You know, you're gonna have to start using the celestial navigation.
Hmm.
But you don't know the
Yep.
stars out there. What we don't know the stars that are beyond. Who knows?
Right.
So good luck.
Yeah, that would be a man. Imagine how trippy that would be just to be lost.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
that
no
you
way
get
to
to a certain
know.
point, you're like,
Like
yeah, you're gonna have to settle in a new land. Goddamn, you can't.
once you get too far away from our north, you don't have nothing. The compass ain't gonna work. And south is every direction away from that. So how do you even know? You know, once you
Yeah,
lose the magnetic, field, you're down.
unless you like you lost, you went so far that you can put Mount Meru in the background, right? And you're lost, but then you start to come across another little
Right.
whatever, and it's got
Maybe you
another
take up the
magnetic
true
mountain in the
north.
middle.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
eventually you'll just start have to head north again. Right.
yeah. Hmm.
And hopefully you
Hmm.
didn't turn around. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because you pick up another magnetic field eventually, and then you need to
Hmm.
start heading that way to continue heading south from our magnetic north.
Right.
It's a trip.
Yeah. So this at the top here, just kind of recap about the Urbano Monte map. So we were under the impression like this being a different projection, that this would be Antarctica, only Antarctica, right, all the way across. But if you were to bend this and fold it around into a circle, in the map that we were looking at earlier, Urbano Monte, like if you separated this piece of land from like this piece of land and then this piece of land separate, then y- y- then you could start piecing it back together like, oh shit, this is, you know, in the 1587 map, if the little ice age, prior to the little ice age, you could
Why does
technically
he call
use
it?
something like this.
Why does he call it the Little Ice Age?
Well, I don't know. You never learned about that, huh? The little ice age was
Well, I know about, you know, I well, once you understand the whole vibe of the cosmos, right? Like obviously our local sun migrates through 12 different zodiacs and
mhm,
it'll leave ice behind it because it'll freeze because our sun's getting farther and farther away from it. Well, that's going to cause an ice age. Is that what you're
mhm.
referring to about the little ice age?
Yes, yep.
And if
So
that's
so
the little ice age, then what was the big ice age?
right, yeah, and
Right.
and and that's a big unknown, I guess,
That's
for
why I
our
don't
time.
understand why he's using the word little. Why not just say ice age?
Right. And I think not to I don't like I say I don't want to take up for the guy, or I don't know all of his thought process. Excuse me. One second. Oof.
I just didn't know that there was
Process.
multiple causes of ice ages. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think they call it the Little Ice Age just because it's the most recent, and supposedly it didn't last as long and it came on really quick.
Well, you
So
think you think all of them would last 25,000 years due to its 2,160 years per sign,
mhm,
zodiac sign, and a great year is the 25,600 whatever. So
mhm.
it seems like it's like
I
a
wish I
clock
knew.
part of, well, according to our zodiacs and our ancestors with the zodiac wheel, and they seem to know these numbers, and they sure seem to align with. That's where we get time from. When you look at the Prague clock, it's like it's so precise, right? And it shows you everything
Hmm.
from the zodiacs to the solstices to the day, the nights, the moons,
Hmm.
you name it, it's there. And it's why wouldn't that? I think that's a little bit more credible than the powers to be by any means.
Hmm.
I mean, how could it
Absolutely.
be so accurate, and not be correct,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yep.
It makes
I guess
sense.
unless there's some type of other, I don't know, force that maybe can be uh, that can bring on some kind of destruction like that, some type of, I
Well,
don't want to sound weird,
biblical,
but like
well, yeah.
yeah, weapon system,
Well,
or
yeah.
they talk about the little g
When you
gods
have
like
Satan's
and everything.
season, they're capable of doing whatever. I mean, they're
Hmm.
free to deceive the people for a allotted amount of time, and I'm sure they have powers beyond our knowledge. Because they've hidden on the technology, right? But Who knows? You know, they might have lost a lot of that technology. Like, let's say it was a an ice age and it thawed out, and all these buildings are inherited. Who's to say they understand the technology, or they just
Right.
inherited it to where they don't
Yeah.
really they didn't keep up with the technology, and now they're just re-seeing it after 25,000 years. Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows?
And just trying to reverse engineer it or something.
Because unless you
Yeah.
migrate with the migration of our system, it'll freeze, and everything's going to get buried or frozen. Or that's why I think that, yeah, you're going to have mud season, or mud floods and shit like that if you're freezing and thawing out every so many years, right?
Yeah. True.
And that's
True
why
that, brother.
buildings are underground and like half buried and shit like that. I mean, it would make sense in that ideology.
Yeah. Sure. I think that wherever they let's say I guess the best way to say it, what so if these guys are underground in some sense, like because of these things, like they're having to go back to the same habitats at a certain point, um, and then they're just doing whatever they do underground. I don't know. This is something that I thought would be um, more obvious. You know what I mean? But I guess they're good at hiding shit, through brainwashing and all that, making us think we're in a whole different type of
Yeah,
realm.
they've had a long time to practice as well, and fine
Mm,
tune it. Eh,
Point.
They got
Good
to
point.
start from scratch, and this is 100 years in the making, hundreds of years in the making.
Mhm.
So they've got a lot of time to hone it in. Hmm.
Okay, I'm right here in the center, in the equator, right? Center of this way, center of this way. And then I'm looking straight up into the sky, 90 degrees, straight up, one for one. So over here, I would see Polaris and how when you see in pictures, photography, this is the star trails. And over here, you also see star trails when you're in the very middle. And then say I'm looking from here over, it almost looks like a horseshoe. This rotation is going this way, and this rotation is going this way. And people on the globe don't seem to get that, you know, that's only you would never be able to see past the horizon both ways, right? And if you did, right, you were on a ball, then this right here over time wouldn't stay there. It would go back and forth because of the wobble of the earth, quote unquote, right? You could never stand in one place all year round and see both rotations, right? Without this changing, or down here this rotation changing, right? The South Pole star, I guess you could call it South Pole. But anyway, okay, I just wanted to point that out. So, Glovers, that's a challenge to you. Wake up.
Yeah, I don't think there's a South Pole, and even on compasses, the compasses don't work when you have a south magnet on it. I can't remember what
Yeah,
video
it
it
goes
was. I was
wacky.
watching, it showed that. Yeah,
There's a lot of what do you call it? Magnetic
declination.
de- declination. Yeah, the declination changes, especially when you get below South America right there. You know? See, this didn't used to be here according to the old map, the old Bonamati, the Drake's Passage. That wasn't there. It was land connecting there. Well, with a very slender passageway.
So if
Anyway,
this
just a few
guy don't,
things.
if that guy, Captain Gunn, he claims that there's no ice wall, or that it's not ice over there like the Monty map suggests, because it don't look like it's frozen over there on the Monty map, correct?
Not at
As
that time.
far
It
as
didn't. They just
right.
had like a ocean, icy ocean on the bottom side of it, like where we couldn't see anymore.
Got
And it
you.
was only one spot that said that. It didn't say icy ocean around everywhere else, which kind of makes sense because if you look at Vibes of Cosmos's work, and where what's called Vista 2. This is where
Uh-huh.
the Nazis went, New Schwabenland.
Right.
So they took that route. Now, uh, I wish I had some kind of map to tell us what was there during damn my spasms during Urbana Monte's time, but it stops there in the at Terra del Fuego and Australia, Brasilia, they called it. So yeah, I wish, but
Hmm.
let's see, 1 more minute, 1.5 minutes, finish this up. All right. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. I'm sorry. Let me go back 5 seconds. So as these stars here, okay, this line from Polaris, down to this is like 75, north 75, and then it goes down to it's 90, then gets down to south. Well, this big loop here is going to be this big loop here, okay, and then this middle loop, of course, is going to be this middle loop or this middle loop, one of those, and then the real tight one right there is Polaris. And watch as they line up. Watch what happens with these cross points here, here, and here. All right, let me play it. I'll try to pause it right away. Okay, so at these cross points here, let's see, off, let's see, one this way and this way. Okay, so, damn it. So it would be this line here, this green line going across, right? There's certain times a year where, damn it, I keep messing it up, where the wave, where the oscillations, right? Where they line up. And I think, if I'm right, I think these are the key telltale signs of the season change, right? According to the stars. It would be the time to plant the ancients were like plant during this and this. So I think these
Right.
are the times that they line up from, yeah,
Huh.
across the world. Yeah, season changes across this way, like the time zones or some shit. But
Or
your
would that
universal
be like
time.
equinoxes or something or no?
Yeah. I think no, it's solstice.
Oh, solstice.
Equinoxes. Yeah. No, because it would just be this line for waves would be the equinox. Solstices are when the waves and oscillations come. Damn, you know what? It's slipped my mind if it's equinoxes or not, but I know it's very significant in this.
Right, because the equinox
Uh,
would be the same amount of daylight, 12 hour kind of deal.
right. Yeah. There we go. And then from the ground, uh, on the equator, looking straight up. There was a discrepancy that I was asking before I knew that these people were not in it for the truth. I was asking these guys, like, why is there a 3-degree difference instead of it actually being, when they say the equinox is there, that it lines up 90-degree zenith, right? And it's pretty much the answer I got. And kind of what I was thinking was to hide the uh, the difference in size in the analemma. So if you notice, if you look at it enough, the studies that on the equinoxes, it doesn't line up one for one, right, with the celestial equator. And if it is a 3-degree difference off, that could be another telltale sign that the sky, the firmament, is a little wider and it's not a 90-degree perfect up and down. It's leaning a little
Hmm.
bit because the width of the firmament up there, could be one reason.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Interesting. All right, let's play it out. It's getting let's see, 1 more minute. Yep, minute 10 seconds. Here we go. Oh, I muted it. It's some beautiful music. Ching. Right there. There it is. If you're on the equator, this is what you'll see. Yep, or should be. I think the south should be more to the left if it was completely telling the truth and accurate. Down there's the sun, there's the moon. And there's what they call the celestial sphere. So it's a little bit of a mixture that you can reverse engineer and kind of make it fit my theory, I guess you could say, my theory. Foundations of heaven. Yeah, I just learned today that the one of the descriptions of the firmament is darkness, and I didn't realize that. So it kind of tells me that's the dielectric field. That's the black that we see but don't see. But however true that is, I'm not 100% sure. I only can believe what I read.
Yeah, and belief is just means you don't know, right? Because we could believe in a lot of things, but knowing is a whole different ballgame.
That's right. All right. So that was that, man. That's a little different, but
Yeah, it was a
something
trip,
to think
man.
about.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm gonna be
sir.
hopping off here, RG, man. I'm gonna get my ass in the shower and get some grub in
Oh,
me.
hold on 1 second. 1 second. My bad. Thing jumped off without me knowing. But okay, yeah. Say that one more time, JJ. You cut out just a little bit.
I'm gonna be hopping off here. I'm gonna hop in the shower and get some food in me. But I appreciate you having me on, man. I don't know. I think Roger will be on tonight. If you show up over there, I'll see you there. I think an hour and a half or so. But I gotta
Okay.
get some
Yeah, that's
food
what's
in
up, man.
me.
I've been a late night uh for a little while
A
now
night
too. So
owl.
yeah, I'll probably jump on. Yeah. Yeah, man. Something I appreciate everyone's perspectives and just trying to really feel as if you know if 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 we're told one thing right now that we're educated enough, bro, and not indoctrinated anymore, we can help to give the truth out, and
Yeah, at
that's
least be able to
fully
think for
important.
ourselves. That's important. Even if we're wrong,
Yeah,
that's
man.
okay, right? It's just about learning how to think for ourselves at the end of the day instead of being taught
That's right.
what to think. It's how to think. And that's what we have,
Absolutely,
man. And
brother.
that's gonna take us to the promised land, baby. But
I think
hey,
so.
man,
I think so.
I'm glad I got to
Mhm.
make it, man. And sorry for being late, but hey, better late than never, right?
It's all right. You're allotted 3 tardy slips. It's all good, man.
That's
We
right,
can we
man.
can work. All right, brother. We have a
I've
good
been
night,
right.
man. God
I've
bless.
been writing factitious tardy slips for years. Just play that. I appreciate you, man. Hopefully, we'll see you over there at Rogers tonight or something.
All right, brother. Will do, man.
Later, fam.
Take care. All right.
Much love,
Peace.
everybody.
Right. All right. Well, we made it, you guys. We made it. I'm gonna end out with one video that's gonna give us some perspective on you know us only being able to see a sliver, right, of what's really there. Um, just to give you guys that peace of mind to know that you know whatever we're told, bro, don't listen. Just go with your gut. Allow your curiosity to absolutely get the best of you. Let your mind wander. Let these things sit and simmer. And yeah, man, just let God guide you in your journey, and don't allow the naysayers to put you off your journey. And but yeah, I'm going to give a quick prayer, and I'm going to let the video run. Let me get back over here so I don't do everything wrong like I usually do, because I'm a rookie. All right, here we go. Father, thank you for everything that you provide every day, that peace of mind, that that curiosity, that childlike wonder. Father, I know you said that we need that to enter heaven. And Father, just keep putting those right things in front of us so we can uh we can take what you give us in your words and give that to others. Father, just allow us to be free, not to feel trapped, not to let Lucifer get the take the light from us. Let us keep that front and center and allow us to, fight with all we've got to preserve and to have your kingdom back on earth. And Father, I pray these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys, I'm going to close out and let this run. And I appreciate y'all being with me. This is about 8 minutes. And I'll be over in chat. So if you guys want to holler at me, let me know. Wow, that's so beautiful. That little triangle up there, it looks like a triangle, huh? Right here. There's one blinking. It's actually moving too. Look at that. Oh, there's one. Oh yeah, let me put it back on normal speed. I got it slowed down. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there we go. There's one. There's one up here. Ooh, look at those. Wow. There's one. Ooh, there goes another one down there too. Jeez, you see all these? Imagine if we could just see these with our bare eyes. We didn't need optics, right? That would be so cool. All right, here we go. Whoa, there went like 6. Jeez, 7, 8. Whoa, 9. Look at that. 10, 11. There's another one. 12, 13. Right up there. Go, let's see some more. Oh, there goes one. There's one there. You see right here, his name is Standard Guide, E68. Oh, there goes another one. 2, 3. These I'm very impressed with. And it helps me to keep asking questions like, here goes one. Like, just because we're doubted on things that we say we see doesn't mean we can't, you know, continue on with it. It's just, brings my imagination, with everything. And I think this was a good one. Let me mute. So here's the moon here, that bright light. Man, that looks so small up there, don't it? And what is that around it? Is that clouds? Because I really don't see any other clouds. Well, this one's a little mucky. There's something right here moving super slow, right at the bottom. See that one? There's a couple of good ones that I remember seeing. This isn't one of them. I think it's a time lapse one. I'd rather show y'all because when you see it in time lapse, then you start to put two and two together that there's a whole lot more. Look, there's one up here. I hope this thing will move. There it is. Oh, it's in the way. There it is, way up here. See all those moving? 1, 2, 3. Look, there's a little bitty one right there. You see it? Imagine how high these things are. That the militaries use to what they call simulate microgravity, right? And they're no higher than experimental plates and organelles, and they're basically DNA used for transmitting data like supercomputers. And they say that, based off of our DNA, storage and capacity of transmitting without overheating is like 10,000 to 1 what you would use a microchip for, which piqued my interest. Here's another one right here. But anyway, so all of the airship technology went underground, and the NGOs, there's a few more here, like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, big companies like that took over airships. And the biggest ones I've seen so far, which can go up for months at a time, is 3 football fields wide, which it means is basically as wide as it is long, which is extremely big. There's another one. And all they gotta do is, which is done fairly easy. The way they explain it. There's another one right next to it. See these two? There's one right here. Look way up there. See that little bitty one? Oh shit! These things keep popping up. Sorry about that, Elm. So basically, why I'm showing you this is because things are so much more prevalent than we're told. And then when we talk about it, even within our community, we're made to sound crazy. There's another one up there. There's another one here. There's 2 here moving. So really, when we look up in the sky, it looks as if these are all just, stars. Well, I beg to differ. I don't know what they are, but I've seen some technology that man makes. It's not alien. Look at this one. This is a very odd shaped looking thing, isn't it? Same shape as this. There's another one up here. There's another one going behind these letters. And if you look really close, you can see some tiny, tiny, tiny ones. See, there's one right there. And also, if I was to put this in a faster mode, you would notice that these things come out of nowhere. They just appear with no clouds. Matter of fact, let me speed this up just to see what we can see. Because when it's going a little faster, you can kind of see that there's more than what there is. Let's do 1.5. All right, there's some right there. One right there. One here. One here. One down here. Look at that little bitty one. One over here. See that little bitty one? Well, that one's not moving. Hold on, my mistake. There's another one. There, look at there. There's one. See it? The point of my mouse. Right there. Little bitty bitty one. Either that's little bitty bitty or it's super far away. There's one right here. One over here. One over here. One right here. One right here. And from this distance, they all look circular, but I doubt they are. One there. Right, guys, I'm not going to bore you unless y'all want me to continue. Let me back out of the screen. I don't know how many people still in comments. There's a bright one. There's a little one. There's one right below it. Ooh, tiny, tiny. It disappeared. Where'd it go? There it is. See it? One there. There's two stacked on top of each other, but they're not moving. All right, by show of hands or by, ooh, there's three or four. By putting a number 1 in the chat, tell me, do you think, is this man-made technology that's just up there, or are these some type of interdimensional spiritual things? Like, what do you guys think? Saw the firmament the first time. Let me put this up here where I can read it. All right, I'm going to take this off here, and I'm going to make sure I can put it like this. Stop screen, share screen. Let's see, what else do I got here? You say, sorry, 1940s, Superfinelli. Devon Island, yeah, that's a good one, huh? Maria Walker. And also Bouvet Island. Big Pine says Alums. Alums. Oh, I've got such a good presentation coming up, you guys. It has to do with, let me just put one up here so you guys can see. I'll give you a little tease of what my next one's going to be about. All right, so what I do is I've went and looked up every known Knights of Malta person that is also, get this, is also tied to public life as far as like politicians, military. And what I'll do is I'll go look them up, right, and find out their past and all that, right, through the CIA um, uh, paperwork, like where you go look at FBI, FOIA requests, stuff like that. And let me go over here. And so, as you know, for being disabled, I'm an advocate of using technology to help me look these things up, right? I don't want to say like, I don't want to say like oh, I'm an AI buff. No, 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 that's not what I mean. But so what I do is I pull this kind of stuff up through something called Copilot over here on the left, and I'll go find a whole shitload of documents, right? And I will compile them into like a 20-page presentation, and it's very professionally done. So if you guys are into like this, modern day airships, high altitude platforms, low Earth orbit military platforms, what I was just kind of showing you, the technology that you can see through certain type of object or optics, biodigital convergence, and integrated research synthesis with conspiracy validated and official narrative. So, I do a little bit of both, and that way I can leave it up to the reader, what, and then also as I go down, your boy don't leave nothing out. What I do is I also get every single source that I get my information from. Okay. And I put that in a format that, when I download my research to the descriptions box, what you guys can do is, let me come down here and find some of it. Some of these I'll list at the very end, but most of them I'll leave where you can click on little links. So as I go through the information, it'll have something you can click on that's very easily accessible, and go look at it yourself. So this is just a little tease, So conspiracy validated facts, quote unquote, 80%, right? So 80% facts and 20% bullshit. Here you go. And this is the mainstream. I had to separate it. Mainstream official narratives, 20%, right? ISR is, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. And trust me, guys, there are platforms that keep up with every single one of us. And I say that not in a fearful manner, but yeah. But here's some of the timelines, and it tells, where these things come from, where I get my stuff at. Airbuses. Yeah, wait till I get into Airbuses. But anyway, that'd be pretty cool to go up there, right? So then you got these, like right here where you can go and read. This is talking about section 8, multimedia and video source compilation, where I'll find my stuff at. Prominent documentary sources, legal and regulatory gray zones. Yeah, they blur they blur it for sure. And then you can go right here at the bottom where it says see my thinking, click on that, and you can go through and see how the AI was thinking, why it went to where it went, so on and so forth. You can click on these things and go and check those out, right? And it's got a report you can click on. But anyhow, all right, guys, let me come back over here. It's been a pleasure. And I will see you all in the near future. And I'm going to get back to my research here. Oh, yeah, check this out. This is one of my most recent studies. Well, it'll go to it. Well, you guys can't see this page anyway. All right, let me pull y'all back up and give y'all a farewell and wish you a good night. And, well, where did I go? Okay. Oh, well, I'm trying to find y'all. Go back over here. Well, where did you go? I miss you so. Seems like it's been forever since you've been gone. All right, here we go. Stop sharing. Okay, there you are. Okay, I see you at the bottom now. Sorry about that. All right, 4 in the chat. All right. I hope that your dreams come true, and I hope that you dream big, because as you as you um as you diminish, right, in your wonder, then things stop coming to you. So the more you put your intention out there to, and no new age shit, but put your intention out there, and work toward that and allow it to unfold naturally. That's how I do it. So yeah, man. See lightning. Much love, and yeah, man. I will see y'all on the flip side, on the cool side of the pillow. Peace.